Guys, it's that time again. Another live show with myself and Dave, more formally known within the YouTube community as Art Something. We will be taking a look at your work this week, critiquing it, seeing if we can help, see if there's any failings, and if there is any failings, if we can point them out to you and help. What we say is we're just two regular tattoo artists. Don't come on expecting us to be anything special other than just two everyday artists that tattoo basically every day, have our own studios and make a living out of it. Like I say, with that, if you're new around here, press a subscribe, press a notification. I have got a video due out for a review on the Ambition Torped machine that I've recently used and now been using for a month in the studio. So I thought I'd put a review together, and that'll drop sometime, probably weekend, by the time I get to edit it down. Anybody that's wanting to send any work in, emails at the bottom of the screen, critiquemytattoo@gmail.com. You can send that in while we're live now or anytime between when this stream finishes and when we go live again next week. So with that, let's bring Dave in and find out what Dave's been up to.
Hey, Andy, what's going on, man?
We're all good, Dave.
Good.
So how's your week been?
Good. It's been a busy week, but I can't complain. I've enjoyed the week. Got a little bit of some free time, a couple days off next week. My mother-in-law's coming in town on Saturday, so I tried to take a whole week off, but I couldn't help myself. I booked a few things here and there, so yeah, kind of turned into a couple days off. But I'm going to take it. Gives me some time to prep for the next couple weeks. But it's been good, man.
It's
grateful.
It's really hard to switch off, isn't it? Even when you got downtime.
It is. It's either I want to be tattooing or designing a tattoo, but then if I'm tattooing too much, I complain. And if I feel like I'm always designing tattoos, So it's like, but I have to be doing that, or I feel, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. I guess anybody who likes what they do, but it's torn between whatever.
I totally get it. You're always torn between devil and deep blue sea. Simply tattooing enough. Then when you're not tattooing enough, you want to tattoo more. Then you've got stencils to get out. Then when you've got downtime, you're constantly thinking, well, what have I got when I go back? Do I need to stencil anything up? Have I got to get it? Have I got to get in front? This, that, and other. Because at the end of the day, these are your clients. We tattoo and everything, but if you didn't have no clients, you wouldn't have a business.
That's it. And I've pretty much always take on most jobs, even the ones I don't want, and I think it really pushes you as a person. Sometimes sometimes you have to know when to turn some stuff down. And there's a couple I'm gonna turning down or have to, but I think it's always good to even dabble in some stuff. If you know you can do it, but you don't want to do it, you should probably just do it. It'll help you out in the long haul for the most part.
Like I said, I know you said you've got to pop out for a little while.
Yeah, probably here in 10, 20 minutes. I'll jump off for about 15 minutes. It's my oldest son's birthday today, so I got to run over there and hang out with him for a few minutes. That sounds horrible. And then run back.
So send birthday wishes in the comments, guys, to Dave's son. Dave's going to be here and then pop out and then leave his son hanging on his birthday and come back for you guys. So at least we can do is pop him some birthday wishes in the stream.
It does sound horrible when I say it out loud.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I got him a tattoo machine, Andy, just for the sake of it. Yeah, I didn't get him. I just, I have a few that I haven't used or whatnot. And so I got him that. And then I got him those tattoo pens. I have some here, but I bought a different batch. You know what? Let me try. Oh, sorry, I'm derailing this here.
No.
The pen cartridges.
Yes. Yeah, the pen cartridges.
Yeah, because they're always interested in it and whatnot. And since those pen cartridges exist, I thought, yeah, okay, let's hook them up with a box of those. And so yeah, that's why I want to run over there, make sure he realizes what's going on.
Cool.
That he's not getting a tattoo machine to tattoo. It's a tattoo machine so he can practice, get a feel for things, kind of a thing.
Yeah, he sat there. He sat there at age of about 12 or 13, and he's tattooing his dad.
I'm gonna go in there, and his brother's covered in pen dots.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
It's worked. So for some weird reason, kids are so resilient that he will actually find a way to actually use them pen cartridges to actually do a permanent tattoo. Or my son would have been anyway.
Right. Yeah. They can't figure out how to do basic stuff, but they're like little prisoners, though. Those break stuff down, figure out how to actually turn a pen tattoo thing into a real. And then I'll be just I don't know.
That just reminds me of my son. I mean, years and years ago when they were only really young. One birthday we bought him like a little play tool set, and it had a drill in it, and it just took 2 little batteries. You press trigger, drill bit went round, but if you touched anything with the drill bit, it went inside the drill. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It went inside the drill, so you couldn't actually drill anything. So anyway, this particular day, we goes into his bedroom, and it's like, what's all this white dust? You know, all over the floor. Didn't know what it was.
The drywall, huh?
Looks up, there's an hole in wall like that. Where it was that resilient, it managed to use this drill an hole like that in the wall. And I'm like,
oh my goodness. I could see it, man. I could see it. That's
it's only kids will find a way to do stuff.
That's right.
Like that.
And then they'll be like, what? You didn't tell me specifically that I couldn't take this and put a hole in the wall. It's like you got to tell them everything. And if you don't tell them, then they ain't wrong. But anyhow, I guess we better move on.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I'm just while it's on, I'm just loading.
Right on.
Hopefully, I've got it right this week. And I can actually do it. Something like it. And we're not fighting about diving in and out of screens and this, that, and other, and stressing people out. Well, with my total incompetence towards computer and the dual screens. What's that chaser my dad bought me when he got his done? They had 12 and were hooked immediately. Was in a tattoo shop in a trailer in New Hampshire. Right. So what we'll do, I'll pull this on the screen in. We'll see what we've got.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, look, that looks official right there, Andy.
Yeah, that looks more like the correct one. We've got what we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 emails have come in. And that's so. What we'll do is, if we open this one, is it Manu Tattoo? Basically doing it for about 1.5 years with lots of ups and downs. Almost quitted. Cheers. Well, firstly, props to you for hanging in there and sending your work in. So, with that, Dave, shall we dive in?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Hope for the best.
Hey, it works.
Yeah, look at that. Rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it works. Listen, can we? That's as far as I can zoom in.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good on my end as far as an appropriate. I can digest it from here, if you will.
Yeah, I just can't. It just won't let me scroll in no further than.
Maybe we should, because we always, I think we were talking. Maybe we can let the chat give their thoughts on this piece first. Huh? That'd be fun. So that's it. We always run it around.
There's enough of them in chat. So let's see. I can see a couple of things.
Me too.
Nothing too major. I can see a couple of things. So anybody in the chat, can you spot what I can see? Let's just give you a minute. Let's just give you a minute. Get it typed down. Come on, the 16 here. 60
I would
joining.
say like what where do you see the deficiency? What could you change? What did the person do good? You know, what do you see as positivities here? Those are the kind of things I would probably look at if I were, you know, asking for something. There we go. Jason's got one spot there.
Yeah. He's got spotted something.
Yeah.
I said there's 14 here in. Don't be scared. Jump in chat. Nobody's going to bite you. Nobody's going to say, oh, they shouldn't do. And that. Chuck your 2 penneth worth in. Let's see what you guys can see.
Yeah.
Chasing above the left eye. Probably see where you're going with that, Jason.
That's I see that there too. I think over the shaded eye, is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was like a divot. They could have smoothed that out a little bit. Would have helped out a lot.
Yeah, you mean
back in there and really shape that portion. That's definitely one thing for sure.
The shading here and here looks a little bit. How can we put one noted? It'd be nice if it had been really black down in these corners, you know, and then brushed out, you know, to a lot lighter to give the top of the eyeball as if it's curving.
Yeah, a little bit more circular-ish motion. I can't speak words. I'd say another thing too would be I guess we might as well just because I do see a few people in the chat said a few things, but the right eye, as we look at it, those round pieces in there. The circle in the center seems roundish, but as we go to the sides, they seem to get a little, you know what I mean? Kind of started with the curve and then it kind of cuts back a little bit. And your eye is drawn to that. And I think as Jason said, though, I think that that peace sign is kind of eye drawing as well. You kind of pulled into that blowout and those line pickups.
Yeah, we've got.
What's up, Smoke?
For some reason, I have lost. There we go. There, we could just. I just lost the curtain. Just went off.
Yeah, it's funny how you.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean, what I'd say is right. Yes, Jason, you've just beat me to that. For any sticker, this line going up here stands out. Yeah. And the reason it stands out to me, it stands out as a mistake to me, because when I look at all these lines down here, they're all of the same thickness. And this one, for some reason, is thicker, which actually says to me it's either not gone in or it's double banged it. The other thing that stands out to me, Dave, you see this spot here? Yeah. There's a spot there. That looks down like it's a pick up and a put down point. It's come down here, it's come to there not being comfy. And then when it's gone back in, he's slightly missed his line and he's hung there a little bit too long before he started pulling the rest of it. Right.
Either started there or when he went to finish, this line was here and then this line kind of came up next to it. I mean, but you're probably more right in that he started a bit slow and whatnot there.
Yeah. I mean, I can see little bits of blowouts through here.
Right. But you know what's bugging me though, Andy? And I don't know that it's necessarily wrong. I mean, the line is a little rough, but you see that line going underneath the eye that's kind of like cuts down like this?
This one.
Yeah. It just like the line itself is a bit off, you know, but also I feel like maybe it was in the reference and it's just throwing me off now, but it just looks out of place almost. I don't know.
Yeah. The line itself, it looks, like I said, it may have been on the reference, but that line probably if you'd have got rid of it, it wouldn't have looked weird.
Yeah, it would have looked better without it, really.
But then again, on the plus side, what I'm going to say is you've got this line through here, and these that look decent. This one under here, and up and round this ear are all looking good. These nice little curves, nice little line. But this here, this dot, nice and circular. And
right. Yeah, we give this a bit of, you know, we're pointing out things, but at the same time, the minus, there's the deficiencies, but where the person nailed it, they nailed it, right? I mean, like the line thickness is consistent around the ear, the back of the neck, those spots you talked about.
Yeah.
You can tell this person is, I mean, it appears that they're, consistently moving throughout. It's just, obviously it's not consistent enough to be accurate all the time, but they're getting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm looking at the lines and how they've been, shall we say, approached.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be there doesn't seem to be a load of hesitance. Like I'm looking at this over here, it looks to be pulled in, smooth. It looks to be pulled in one pass.
It does. It does. Yeah.
This line here, and these lines around here. Even that there's a little straight line there, which is a nice little straight line, through.
Right. Yeah. Smooth. So, yeah, this person's got things going for them. It was just important that, we point out the things that that weren't perfect or consistent or whatnot. But pretty good piece.
But it's
to talk about.
I mean, for what it is, there's not a great deal there. There's not a great deal in it. And thank you for sending it in. For as much as it has got its faults, it has got its good points as well.
Yeah.
And you go to, I would put myself out there and say, you go to most tattoo artists' work and you scrutinize it this close, you will find faults.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And to this level, there are easier to find in this particular piece, but definitely a good statement just in general, though. I mean, we could zoom in later. We might zoom in on stuff that's a little unrealistic, but yeah, you can do that to anybody. You can zoom into my work that far and you're absolutely going to find flaws all day long.
You are. Same with me, Dave. So we'll move on. Let's see what we've got.
Same person?
Same person. He sent us a few in.
Yeah. Maybe you can go in a little further, just not a lot, but maybe just a little bit because they're right there. Maybe back a little bit. But yeah, I think that's a pretty realistic place to look at this tattoo from.
Again, there's 20 here in evening, John. There's 20 of you in chat watching this video. So we'll give you 1 minute to have a quick look at this. Any of you guys see anything in particular? Drop it in the comments at the side. Like I say, let's see what you can actually see before we go through this tattoo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just definitely let us know what you guys see. What do you think? It's just good to get in the habit of looking at something, and it's great to go, hey, you know what? That's a cool tattoo, but let's take a closer look and say, all right, yeah, okay, get comfortable seeing those things.
Yeah, I mean, we're sat here, and the easiest thing to do in the world is, like I've said, is pull somebody else's work to pieces, and totally appreciate people sending it in for that and letting us pick it apart. Now we've got people saying finished body needs asana, but you just don't know what the reference was. Was it a stylistic choice? I get what they're saying.
Yeah, I do too. It is a bit odd.
This piece, I would have liked personally to see this. What would have been nice for me, Dave, is if this piece had have finished and you see this.
Yeah.
If it had been red.
That's what it probably should be. The Widowmaker or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they call them. I can't remember.
But what I will do, I mean, it's not. Yes, it's quite big, but there's not a lot of ink there, if you understand what I mean. It covers a lot of area.
Right, but it's technically, I mean, if you really want to break it down, it's some really thick, long lines that are filled with some white.
Looking at it from back here, just scroll it. Looking at it from about here, first initial thoughts, it's a spider. It's got some webbing in it. So from that point, it's hit the mark at that point from you being able to legibly read, this tattoo in my eyes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's quite legible.
Yeah, because we've seen plenty that aren't legible, no matter how far or how close
Yeah.
you get to it.
I think solid a little bit more. Can you zoom back in just a little bit?
Yeah,
Andy?
we'll go back in now, Dave.
I think just a little bit more, and I did pretty good with the saturation, and maybe it's just the glare we're picking up off of it, but it just kind of lacks that little bit of a finesse, I suppose. And then,
Oh, I like that.
so maybe a little bit more saturation of the black. The lines need crispened up a little bit, and then some of the web lines, you know, moving those longer distances allows for more of your hand to kind of go in and out a bit, obviously, or the part of the skin to change because you're going from here to here, and the tension on the skin and where it's all that stuff changes. So definitely could have gotten those lines, those web lines, a bit crisper, and not relied so heavily on just these little white spots to make everything work.
I mean, I am going to see if I can. No, we're in a full scroll. Because what, like you said, Ev, the black could have been a little better and a little neater in places. Now, I've got this little problem here. We've got to cross over the lines.
Yeah.
This area. And the other bit I've got a problem, if you look all around this white, like there, here, and there's a couple of other places, there's a little bit here, it's put the white in, but shall I say, not filled the area?
Yeah. I see I used to do this too, and sometimes I still fall victim to it, but yeah, you put the white in, but you really didn't fill that open area you left. You just kind of got a little piece in there, you know?
Yeah.
Taking the time to fill the void with the white is yeah.
Yeah. But and other than that, like I say, some of these, and I know the web lines and you can get away with it, but some of these lines would have been nice if they'd have been a little bit applied a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
The actual saturation, where I'm looking at it on my screen, maybe a little bit light on this one, but generally the line saturation seems to be there. I can't personally see so many blowouts on this one. No,
there's a couple that look close, but they're not. A couple of the web lines look a little harsh, but aside from those, no, I think that this would have been really great to get that shadow in there that comes from the leg shadows, which really takes this kind of tattoo to the next level. But I mean, this is a good tattoo to do. I mean, it's straight black and it's white. I mean, like somebody said, they could have definitely embraced a little bit of some grays here and there, maybe to give a little bit more dynamics instead of just straight black, straight white. Definitely should have finished the butt off. But you know, depending on where this person's at in their tattooing journey,
it's like he says,
sure.
he's been at it for a year and a half, on and off, nearly quit, but he's persevering, and he's still working his way through it at the minute. Is this guy? So I think we've got another one.
Sure.
So we've got this. So we'll put it in there. You've got initial impressions.
Yeah, from here it's quite readable. From here, I would typically still say you could use some solid blacks. I don't really see any real solid blacks. From here, it looks like we're definitely going to find some scratchiness in the shading in the leaves and everything. It feels a little patchy, but you know, from here it reads. And this person's got a tattoo. They're probably rocking it, but I'm going to have to jump off here for a few minutes, Andy.
Yeah,
and I'll be
no problem. I'll finish. What I'll do is I'll finish because Dave's jumping off. So what I will do is I will drop you out, Dave, now.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I'll finish this critique and then I'll wait for the rest of them until you come back.
Okay.
And then we can do them together. And in the meantime, until you come back, we'll have a chat, questions, answers, whatever, with a side chat, and we'll see you in a minute. You go.
Yeah, I'll be back in like 15 minutes, man.
Yeah, no problem, Dave.
All right, Andy. See you guys in a few
minutes.
Yep.
Right, guys. So we go back to it. So what I'll do now is let's scroll in a little bit further. Hey Tibbets, nice to see you. What I will say before I go any further, if you're enjoying it, give the stream a thumbs up. If you're new here, obviously it doesn't cost you. Subscribe. If you don't want to miss any more content, because I have got some videos coming up. Subscribe, press that notification bell, and you won't miss any of the critiques or any of the videos that I put up. I would much appreciate that. So back onto this rose, guys. What can you see? What can you see with this rose head? I see a couple of things, but can you guys actually see anything and make anything out with this rose head as regards to what could be done and just to make it look a little better? Shading. Jason says shading. Yes, the shading could have been better. And that working from dark to a lighter shade, which would definitely give this more of a dynamic feel. Line work is not consistent. Bang on. That's the first thing that pops to me. Because what I see here, especially, let me get it right, this line here seems a lot heavier and a lot more drilled in than, shall we say, a lot of the other lines. Then you have depth not consistent, probably, and speed. Could be running out of ink, could be overstretching. This line here, if I don't think it won't let me go any further, but this line here is not in solid, it's not saturated. We've got it goes there, then it stops, it's broken up here, thinner, all the way up. And then, like I said, it's as we roll down, needs different line weights. Yeah, this style would have benefited from a few different line weights, which would have helped it out. And we'll drill into these leaves again. As you can see, this line weight and this line weight, this line's barely in, a lot of it's coming out, but this line weight is super drilled and overworked. Same with this one, going up through here is proper drilled in. And from what I can see, but there's a lot of glare, this one going around here up to about this point is really worked in. Laser would help. Let's not get on about laser at you later. Bordered outline can help this. Bolded outline, sorry, Waldo. Yes, you could totally go back in and fix it. Bolded outline, go through it. I'm just not a fan of how these leaves, shall we say, these parts of these leaves have been done. I would have preferred maybe just use a mag and shade it out in this sort of like direction, or if you're going to use these lines, use stipple shading to get these in like that. I'm just not a great favour of how it's been done and how it's looked. Again, because we've got a line weight over here and these line weights, which are virtually blown out, if not blown out in this area, as opposed to these, which are hardly in when they get to the end. There's no consistency, unfortunately, through this, and some of this is falling out. Again, here, lines not in. But this is where, when you finish your tattoo, clean it down, go back in, have a look. If you can't see it, take a picture of it sometimes, blow that picture up, and you may be able to see it better as a picture on your phone. Yes, it's not helping with how the picture, with the light being straight on it, you're getting a lot of glare, which does make it hard in places to read and critique this tattoo. Hey up, Jeremy, glad to see you made it. But like I said, I mean, the overall readability of it is not bad at all. It does have issues. you can tell that he's got this guy is working and he's getting there with it. He's getting with it. Just got a couple of issues that he's got to pick up on and watch out for. But as we come back to this rose head, in here, round here, all through these dark, get some darker areas in this, and out from these leaves and through here. Start off with black. Start off with black. Shade it out. And the other thing as well is rose petals, leaf petals, or whatever. Don't, and especially with this style, don't be as a regimented finish like this. I would say you look at a rose petal, it wouldn't have a regimented finish. With this shading may come up the side of here to nearly the end, fade out, bring it back a little bit out here, round, and so on and so forth. And then you would always maybe get a little bit, just a tiny little bit from here to here in a lighter tone over top of a crease. Same with this one. You probably get down that side and maybe down this side, because this looks like it's got a hump in the petal. So you would have to shade it accordingly. Do you use or have you tried Polaroid filters for a picture? Let's show that up there, Waldo. Right, I struggle taking pictures. I could do with a crash course in photography. I suck at taking pictures. I have been told numerous times for my mobile phone to get, is it a clip-on CPL filter that it just clips on? And you can adjust it when it's on before you're taking your photo to filter out and get the true light. Now, I've been told to use one of them. I'll be honest, I've been a bit lazy and I've not actually purchased one. I've not actually tried one. So it's something on my to-do list because I suck at taking decent pictures. And you will always notice, and anybody that's taking pictures or tattoos will always notice, that when you take a picture of a tattoo, unless you've got thousands of dollars of equipment or whatever, or filters, that your tattoo always looks better in real life than the pictures that you've taken. You'll go back and you look at them pictures after your client's gone, and you look at them pictures and you'll think, really? It looks well better. This I don't do it any justice. It looks so much better in real life compared to what these photographs have done. You later. She's using polarized lens for her phone. Cool. I know a few people do it. Like I say, I've been told to do it. I've just been lazy and not done it. And that's on me. That's on me. Rob, yeah, everybody says the same with taking photos. I go back and many a time, I'll be honest, as many a time I've liked the tattoo that I've done, and I've liked when it's not been on the person. I've taken the photos, they've gone away, and later on that day I've opened the photos, looked at them, and I've hated the photos to the point that I don't post any pictures of that tattoo. And that sucks because you've done all that work and you'd like to show it off, but you just can't because your photos suck. What you got? What's contrasting got? It's because all cameras use an auto sharpen or something similar without telling you, and it can also make lines look weird and mess around with contrast. Well, whatever it is contrasted, I'm not right sure what it does. And that, but you're right. It always screws every tattoo up that you do, and you'll find that. And I don't know about you guys, I'll end up taking 20 odd photos at the same tattoo from all different angles, and then I'll get clients to turn this way, and I'll take photos again, and I'll get clients to turn back, and I'll take photographs again in different light angles, just to make sure that when they've gone and I look back through these photos, that I've got some decent photos that I can show people. So we've got Pommy, hey up, glad you made it. What's the address to mail in polarized pics? I'm not right. Polaroid pics. I'm not right sure what you're on about. I'm not right sure what you're on about there, Smoke. You'll have to enlighten us a little bit further on that. What's the address to mail in polarized pics? Scan them in and email them in. I don't know. I don't 100% know, Smoke, what you're trying to get at. Sorry, pal. So if we take that one off. Contrasted. All the pictures I take, the tattoo look so much better in person. Yes, totally agree. Nothing wrong with that. And like I say, it's just a thing that happens, unfortunately, with tattooing. It's pretty garbage, to be honest, isn't it? And like we say, it's it's one of them things that we've got to overcome. Yeah, that's Rob. Same. That's why I don't send my tattooing. I hate the pics, but I like the tattoo itself. Yeah, I totally get it. But hey, send them in. What's worse we can do, and that we can take a look at it. And that. Yeah, it's always crap on a pic. You later. Like I said, this is a topic of discussion on its own. Let's be right. Trying to get good pictures of tattoos that you've done and that you're proud of, and you take the photos and they look like cack. You can watch YouTube videos about photography for enlightening of that. Jason, I know you could. But honestly, mate, I've got that much going on. I don't think my old fart brain would take any more in. I just don't think it would. I'd end up confused. I wouldn't know whether I'm going backwards and forwards. Rob, I knew somebody would bring that up. How's your leg doing? To be honest, mate, leg is fine, spot on. There's no pain, bit of redness, no pain, hardly any blistering, a few little blood spots, and that. But just keep creaming it now, and so on and so forth. But all's good, bud. All is good. And the initial effects of the laser looks like it's taken, on the first pass, has taken a good chunk away. I think we've got Dave back. Let's see whether he's here.
Hey.
Hey up, Dave.
What's going on, Andy?
Cool. You're back. You want to... That didn't take long. Poor son. You must have been in, out, done, dusted.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, once they tear apart everything, then they're just off playing with stuff. Of course, I got my, like you said earlier, tattoo machine, pen machine with some of those pen cartridges, so you can like practice monkeying around.
Yeah.
All the time he's around tattoos and whatnot, he had no idea what the thing was. He was like, "What is this thing?" I'm like, "Oh man, I gotta tell him that it's a tattoo machine and this, that, and the other." So, but anyhow, he's off building Legos right now, so all good, man. I mean, miss anything good?
No, just a total topic of conversation on its own, Dave, about how when you do a good tattoo, when you're happy with it, and you take photos on your phone, you take loads of photos, and your client's gone away, and you open them photos, and they all suck.
Oh man!
To the point that you're happy with it, and you're happy with the tattoo that's gone out, and the client, it looks really well, and it looks crap on the pictures to the point then that you don't even post it. But that's
it's so true, Andy. It happens more often than not that the person leaves and you're like, you loved it, they loved it, you didn't notice anything, and then obviously you look at the photos later and you're like, what? That one shadow is just throwing the whole thing off a little bit in photos. And then you go back and look at it in real life. It's, how is this photo showing me things that my eyeballs apparently can't see? But what I've been doing lately, and I'll photograph tattoos, even not all tattoos I post, because some aren't a style that I want to do moving forward. It's not something that I want to be put out there, because then people will come to you more often for, hey, I saw you did this or did that. But nowadays I'll photograph it, and then I'll throw it on the computer, look at it real quick, just make sure nothing crazy that I need to do or take new photos or videos, and then I clean them up and patch them up and finish off things. But yeah, that's a real thing, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks.
It does. So, well, we better bug it, Dave, because I've just opened emails and there's a crap load more coming.
Yeah, that's I told you. I was like, well, you're like, yeah. I said, don't worry. People will send in tattoos live.
Yeah.
So
I'll switch us back into as little boxes.
Yeah.
And we'll go Josh Willis. Let's have a look. Hey, glad you're still doing it. I thought critique was dead. Glad to see you just moved. Yes, we just moved. We're over here. Like we say, you can send your work in. Email below. Anytime from the end of this stream to the next stream, send your work in. The only time we will change it, if we start getting too many, then we will revert to the same as what Dave had on his channel, that on the night or on the day, send them in, and we'll look at them. But other than that, but here's some new work I did. What do you think? So with that, let's open the first one out. And again, I will get us in.
It looks like he's using a good fake skin. This looks like the brand Real Skin, because usually you can tell it kind of looks like it might be a good fake skin at least.
Yeah. It looks so. Obviously, we've got a bit of script, and a little bit of, what shall we say, is going to resemble, a little bit of shading, around.
Yeah. I mean, they're practicing, Andy, so I'm gonna, it's on fake skin. They got a good fake skin. It tells me some good stuff, going on here, but it's just, so we got the self-made, and I don't know what that squiggle is in the middle there of the self and made. What that?
You mean this?
No, down to your right.
Oh, this.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, and maybe that's just ignorance. Fair, but let's just start with the self-made and break it down from there. Is I know that the stencil had variation in the shape and size of the font, right? Like the A, obviously this S kind of started with the singular line, then kind of expanded out and shrunk back down, this sort of like calligraphy or cursive-ish. And I think that, they probably maybe lost the stencil or something. Something happened. I mean, we can look at the A, we can look at the D specifically and know that those are too big, right? So we're having issues maybe hitting our lines. So we're smoothing stuff out. And then you find when you start smoothing stuff out, it can go to hell in a handbasket real quick if you're not careful. They got some good solid saturation in some of these spots, like with the inside of these letters, but I mean, it just feels a little bit rough. Even on fake skin, it feels a little rough, and we're not really even discussing the shading in the background. But
I mean, this for script work, I'm agreeing. You come round here off this really, really thin line, and then we get into this bold S. Now, if you look at the bottom of this S, fine line, and then you see as it comes in, then it tapers out. This should have been more of a slim taper in on this lettering. Working out to bold around about here, coming off bold, and then start tapering in again here. Same on the E. It's just in the fatter areas, like you said, it looks like it's got away, and especially with this top of this area.
It's just
this
a lot of
it doesn't look the same as the rest of it. And the D, the saturation is not too bad. There is a couple of spots I can see on the other screen here and here where it's not quite up to the line. Right. And then
what's with that shape of self? It's like this sort of shape. Part of me wonders if this was stenciled or maybe something seems off here, because the F is like very heavily angled backwards. So
yeah,
I'm not sure. if you're gonna do a piece on even on fake skin, you know, really try to make sure that you're able to follow the stencil and do your best to follow said stencil. That's part of the battle. And getting practice at that now is good as well. Even though we know stencils suck when it comes to sticking on fake skin, so that could be half the battle. But
Yeah.
go ahead, Andy. You were
But at least he's on. But what I will say, at least this guy's sticking to fake skin.
Yes, for
he's
sure.
not drilling somebody's skin, and they then may have to have once again laser removal to get it covered up, because that sucks.
Yeah, it's a bit on the heavy side.
But at the end of the day, you're just going to have to keep plugging away, watch for your script, make sure you've got a good stencil laid down, because your stencil is your roadmap.
Right.
And once you lay it down, follow it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are bringing up the obvious part too, is that in human skin, not only we would have the issues we see, but we'd also probably have some scarring, you know, some overwork, maybe some blown out areas. That's the beauty of fake skin. All those other things you don't have to really worry about so much, the blowouts, the scarring and whatnot. So you do here, but you don't have to worry about those yet. First, you just want to make things start to look good, and then you can start thinking about control of depth and stuff. This just depends on where you want to start and where you want to go. As long as you understand that all those things play a part, and fake skin doesn't really show some of those imperfections. But yeah, so that shading is
weird.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I don't think they really put forth the thought before they did this.
There was no real need to shade like that around the outside of it. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know where they were going with the shading and that on that one. With that, this person sent another one in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as far as I can. That's as far as I can zoom in. Can I just leave you that one for a minute while I nip to bathroom, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. I really think this person needs to, you know, they're again using good fake skin. That's a plus. But the problem here is that it's just that they're trying to do stuff without fundamentals involved. So you're never going to get a nice, clean, let's say, change. Is that what that? Yeah, it says change. You're not going to get a nice clean script unless you're really taking the time to work on your lining. So you can add the extra stuff, the shading, pack it in there, but unless those lined fundamentals are in a decent place, God knows we're not perfect. Same for myself, absolutely. But if you look at the knife down there at the bottom and the swooping pieces that are coming around there, you continue to see spots where we're shaky, where we're going over lines. And it happens. You can go over lines. But I would start there and maybe start with some smaller stuff. Get comfortable moving those hands in smaller spots. Maybe run some longer curved lines. Get comfortable running longer curved lines. Again, on the fake skin, we only are really looking at, all we can really evaluate from a photo is smooth and consistency. You know, how consistent is that line? How smooth is that line? Do we see pickups and put downs? We can't really tell. To some degree, you can. You can look and know that, dang, if that were on human skin, that area would be scarred, that area would be blown out, and you can see some of those spots. But there's an art to starting here, doing a curve, and coming back around and keeping it smooth, consistent throughout. And those are the things you're definitely going to want to be able to do when it comes to font. So saturation, again, from this distance, where you have black saturated, you know, it's working. But where you're relying on lines to carry things, it's not working so much. The shading is better here. I'll give you that. Like, you kept the shading inside, let's say that dagger down there at the bottom and whatnot. But it doesn't really speak to me in ways of like value. I don't really get depth out of it. I don't know. You don't really see the shadowing of what's under and what's over top of and whatnot. So, I mean, shading is a good thing to kind of practice on the side, but I would encourage you to focus on the line work, because having a better grasp on that and a better ability to lay down lines is going to definitely help you out as you progress forward. And then now, as you incorporate shading back into it, you can focus more on the shading part, vice having to worry about lining and shading. And is this working? Is that not working? Is it the shading that's messing me up? Is it the lines? You know, just know at this point, it's the lines. So definitely would just work on that. But I give you credit to having good fake skin. You know, it sounds like usually when we see that, it means, you know, you're trying, you know, you went and bought a decent product to put your efforts into. So that's cool. I just think that maybe just focusing on the line work, you know, maybe not worrying again about the shade, just really hone in, spend some time, find a couple needle groupings that you find that you might use the most, and get comfortable with those first, and then dabble around. But that's about it on that one, Andy.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sure you've covered everything, and they don't want to see it.
I tried to run my mouth the whole time you were gone.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't want to sit here and listen to me go back over everything.
Right, I feel you, man.
So, with that, we shall move along to the next one. Therapeutic Ink has sent us some work.
Alrighty.
So I did this one over the course of 3 sessions. It's mostly healed at this point. I know it's not perfect, and welcome the feedback.
Cool.
Right, are we ready?
Hey, can we start from the zoomed out position?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's fun, you know what I mean? Whether we're right or wrong, but just to say, hey, from here, if I were to just walk by and take a glance over, and it could look fantastic when we get up close too, but it's readable. I know what it is. I think I can already see where we're going to see some flaws, but hey, you know what? From here, looking at it, pretty cool tattoo, pretty cool concept and whatnot. I would actually enjoy doing this tattoo. I would change a few things, but what do you think from here, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I actually like his color choice.
Yeah.
And what I particularly like, and can I zoom in a little bit just to show you guys? And what I particularly like about his color choice, before we get into anything else,
Right.
did you see this glass effect where this used the blues to indicate this glass effect and a little bit of light, and then he's used a super pale grey for the shadow of the glass effect. Now, I like the idea, and I like the visual effect of this tattoo, where I have got some, shall we say, trepidations and queries. If we zoom in a little bit further, is one, shall we say, this line looks like it's got away from him, you know, on this corner, and maybe some of this line, this looks a bit blown out, you know, just in these corners here, Dave.
Yeah. Sorry, I was yeah, again, from a distance, nice. It might be in the healing process, I'm hoping, because some of that blue looks a bit wrinkled, which kind of leads me to believe it might be a little beat. You know, again, it could be lighting and whatnot, just the skin, but it does look a little beat in those blue areas.
Yeah,
the lining around the outside, you know, you can get away with that a little bit. But up there on the upper left-hand side of the glass there, obviously, that's a bit on the noticeable side, kind of jumps out at you even from a distance. How about the top there, Andy?
Around here, yeah.
I mean, he gets away with it a little bit there, you know, and I think when it heals, it'll probably soften out a little bit more, and you'll probably be a little bit more forgiving even then. But, you know, those are some of those spots we try. I like that little bit of tonage. I like his blues and the area he's left open for the whites. I wonder if he gray lined the white highlight around it.
Yeah, I mean, there's something there, isn't there? You know, here?
Yeah, I wonder if he didn't just like hold the stencil and just gray line that, and maybe didn't choose a light enough tone.
But I mean, he's gone through. He's got his little bit of a drop shadows, you know, under these. Where I would say as well is therapeutic. You need to work on your color theory and your blending techniques of color on this. This lily, and I know you got the stripe through. It would have been nice if you'd had this stripe through, but then not as being as regimented through here, and you know, just softened that edge so that this lighter pink, you know, flowed into it, you know, a little better. Again, I'm looking at this up here where you've got the dark, you come through to the light. Looks even though this effect is nice, what I can just see is if this transition between the dark blue and the light blue wouldn't have been, again, as regimented, and it'd have been, because when you get them lights around them curves, they're never 100% perfectly, straight down either side.
Sure.
So you can get away from shading in with a little bit of, a darker tone. And I know you said it's healing and mostly healed, but this little section here looks a little bit overworked, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Again, Rose, I would say that this red and this red is a little bit too close together.
Yeah, it's not quite enough contrast there. Could have almost gotten away with using some black, because of the size of that, and maybe just letting the eye just use that black, or again, like we talked about, brown with the touch of black and really give you a bit more depth too.
And then this red on the outer side here, you could have gone into this red, and then this red on the outer side could have been a pink, maybe this pink that's in here, could have been that, or you could have just dipped into a little bit of white, with your red to mix your own pink, which would have just give it a little bit more of a depth. Moving down, these leaves look a bit gotten away. I'll be quite honest on this. This look like they've just got away from you a little bit. Again, which is my favourite saying, using leaves. Use a dark green. Then use this green that you've got here. Use this dark green, if not a little bit darker, and then pull a golden yellow. Pull a golden yellow. With them three colours, you can make all your colours to go through that leaf and give it three-dimensional when I get it out. And add a shaded black off, add a shaded dark green off here, off this centre. And then my dark green would have come off this corner, working further out, working back through here into my little bits of golden yellow through there and golden yellow up there. Same with stem.
Give it a bit more shape, huh?
Yeah.
More dimension,
Same on this stem. I'd have probably put a bit of brown in with it.
Mm-hmm. And then the petals down there, I see where he's used, the falling into that 2 reds, maybe 3, but they're so close in color that they don't quite get enough contrast there. You added some depth, it looks like. It doesn't look like you just flattened those things out red. But again, I think if we would have found that more contrasting red, or even like a brown into a black kind of a thing, or something, tinted black, whatever, would have helped out a little bit.
It's just missing them extra steps to make it more three-dimensional. Same again, this brown. That there, from there, could have been black. Just a bit of black whipped off there. Yeah,
true.
Black whipped off there. And then this dark brown to probably about this point. Same again to about that point, and then pick a paler brown. Maybe a beigey colour. Just put a little bit in. Or take some white. Mix this brown with some white just to get a lighter tone. Just to give that highlight, and it'll give that bit of a glare that it's doing it.
I like the little white spots you put in the glass there. And those little, definitely helped. A little bit of, I think, a hint of blue, real light baby blues are in there. Nice selling point. The final part. So there's like a lot of good things here at Therapeutic. There's some things that it's like, we could definitely easily butter up some of these things. The center of these sunflowers definitely look like, don't take it the wrong way, a chocolate chip cookie, man. I really, and I feel like, and I still struggle with sunflowers at times, and I really did. It's definitely early on, but you could definitely get more specks in there if you need to, so they don't look like little pieces of cookie. Just really. One method is just kind of really stab around with different tones to give it a bit more of a fuller look there. But and then maybe shading it a little bit more to give it a little bit more curvature or whatnot. But I mean, again, from a distance, I look at it, I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. I know exactly what that is. It reads good from here. I'm not looking at cookies or anything. We were just up on it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, most people in real life are probably going to view it from here. This sort of distance away from it. Totally readable. You know what it is. It's a broken glass jar with a rose, a lily, some sunflowers, and petals dropping. So it reads. It's just when we get on top of it. And again, like you said, this centers of these, which have done loads of sunflowers, I usually approach by using some, a bit of dark black, and then I'll go into using like a dot work effect.
Yeah.
And then the in-between spaces, I'll put a little bit of white dots in them, you know, to give it the highlights.
Yeah.
And then this outer brown, I'll use a couple of browns with a beige, and I also put green in. I also put a little bit of green in, you know, because sometimes if you go look, a sunflower around this edge will have a little bit of green in this edge.
Okay.
And I've done a few, and I've got a few up on my Instagram that I have done, and some that's on the Facebook page that I have done, and I've approached them all that way. But hey, I mean, is it perfect? You've admitted it's not perfect and there is flaws. So it's nice to see that you can actually critique your own work therapeutic. Yeah. That is a massive bonus.
I think it's important to realize that even when you finish a piece, I do this. I'm learning to let myself accept flaws, if this makes sense. You know, where you make a piece, you're like, you know what, I really like that thing. And you'll zoom in, you're like, gosh dang it, I see that. I wish I would have shaded that. Most people probably wouldn't notice. Of course, everybody we train here is going to notice, you know.
Yeah.
But I've just allowed myself sometimes to just go, screw it. I like that too. I'm going to put it out there. You know what I mean? And accept that I see the flaws. I'm going to try better next time. I'm going to try better the next time. I'm always trying to improve. But allowing yourself to make work, have flaws, and everybody still be happy. Client, you, everything. Obviously, we're not butchering things. You know, you got to know what you're talking about. But yeah.
You know, these are all just on this one. These are all just pointers for him to progress himself, you know, to the next level.
Yep.
And it's just minor bits here and there, and just little areas to work on.
Perfect.
So I think that's all. But cheers for sending it in, therapeutic. Keep on smashing them out. Keep on sending them in. We enjoy seeing your work. Thank you. So we'll go after therapeutic. We've got Rob Hemlick.
Boy, we do got quite a few more emails here, Andy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start bugging, I think.
Yeah, you might have to.
Hey guys, I normally don't send in any of my tattoos because my wife usually give me all the criticism. They will give you all the criticism. But let's go. You'll notice there is a still stencil left on skin. I've tried everything to remove it, from Andy's favourite baby oil to soaking it in bleach. All the same.
What was that, Andy? What are you using, Andy?
Have I got to get into the camera and go, baby oil, Dave. Baby
oil. My goodness, I couldn't hear you there.
But all the same, let me know and let me know what I can prove on. No problem, Robert. So with that, let's dive in.
Sure.
Ooh.
We're both on the same boat here. Like, okay.
Yeah, so we'll get
right, Sean.
We'll look at it from this perspective for a minute.
Well, man, I tell you what, from here, obviously, those circles look quite consistent, right? I mean, we might be able to notice when we get up on them, but from like a glance here, quite consistent. Those hands look good.
Yep.
The Roman numerals, I hate Roman numerals, and everybody wants them, so we do our best. But it's just, you know, I like the contrast they got in that flower. There's some dark depth deep in that rose. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Right. I like those leaves too.
Yeah, leaves got nice shape, nice form. You know what I like? I'm going to zoom in. You know what I really like? I really like this bud. For some reason, I am drawn to. You see this little rosebud?
Yeah.
Because a lot of time you'll see a lot of times with this rose on leaves, you know, this sort of thing. Not so much with, you know, the bud.
No, it's true. Yeah. It's a nice little addition in these pieces. Even look how far you were zoomed in. That was pretty consistent, pretty stinking consistent. They have varying line weights here. Again, those leaves, there's a lot of cool things happening. Every one of those little parts is different, right? They didn't just sell out and go with the line, the, you know, the 3 lines on each side or whatever kind of thing. They took the time and, you know, put it in there. They got some
time. I mean, maybe just a couple of spots I wanted some of this black maybe just taking a little bit further, but that's an artistic choice. I could have put a little bit of darker black in here, and then come in with this shading just to give it a little bit, and through here just to give it a bit more depth. Same with maybe ends of these, Dave, you know, and that just punched a little bit more black in.
I can almost respect the ability to hold back the amount of shading in that flower. You know, I think a little bit of extra black, but I know myself, and I have a hard time letting tattoos breathe. Sometimes even I kind of want to cover them, not completely, but sometimes I see nice roses and you look at them and go, why do I like that? It's usually because they left a lot of open skin. They really allowed it to breathe a bit more. And that's, I feel like, something I lack at times, where I feel like, wow, that's going to require me to leave this entire petal open. And my anxiety, or whatever you want to call it, gets a hold of me and says, no, you can't leave that open. That looks like you're slacking. And we talk about the hair all the time, but I still find myself doing this. So I think I like the restraint they put in here just enough to make it work, and it looks really nice.
Rob's in chat. He said the end got away from me. Well, we'll come down to your script in a minute, Rob, but appreciate you sending the work in. Again, I'd just go like these little bits. There's some little bits where it'd be nice to have, and like off here, super solid black, and maybe just here, just whipped off for me.
Yeah. A couple of the Roman numerals are a little harsh. I see it just a couple, but again, I freaking hate Roman numerals.
Yeah, I hate Roman numerals, and you can see just a little bit, shall we say, maybe not consistent like this one. This is nice and consistent, you know, black through there with the fine line through it, and the little, you know, one on this one is a lot better than some of the others. Especially if you look at the three, this one here is heavily in.
That's the one that popped out to me.
Yeah, as opposed to these two.
You could really fix that just by kind of thickening the two up next to it, because I think that's what draws your eye, because you have one, and that thicker one is pretty consistent with actually most of the other ones. I would think we could look at it and say the thicker ones was throwing it off, but it might be the thinner ones next to it. That's an easy fix. Thickening them up just a tiny bit and your eyes less drawn to it. The end doesn't even bother me. I know the end got away from him, but I mean, I think you could roll with that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, all these circles, pretty goddamn consistent, pretty goddamn, you know, round, this, that, and other. Look, script. Look, Rob, probably not the best choice of script in my opinion. You know, it's got away from you. What I would say then, if you think it's got away from you, work your script as a side note on your scraps of fake skin. Work it as a separate. Just keep writing this name, your name, wife's name, anybody's name, anything. We can write a complete. Go find a sentence or a passage, you know, off Google, print it, you know, and just stencil it. But you know it's got away from you. In comparison, and what we'll say is, in comparison to the rest of the tattoo, yes, we can see that. So hats off that you've actually understand that. Yeah. And me personally, I'll leave it at that, and I'll let you deal with it.
I think for me, Andy, the feet though, what do you think, man?
I'm going to get to that. The worst part about this for me is these footprints.
Same.
And I'm going to tell you as for why, Dave.
Go ahead, man.
One, they look like tribal footprints.
Yeah, they do.
You know, with this. And
they're harshly lined, you know.
They're harshly lined. And if these were meant to be black, Rob, I can still see your outline, which is black. And if you were going to do these black, or you're going to do them black with a bit of shading, at least start shading black off your outline to get it to disappear on something like this. And do some, you know, even if it's gradation of black through here and then into, you know, some lighter tones for a footprint that's, basically, let's say it's had ink on it and being put down. For me, these openings, Dave, are too regimented.
They are, Andy, and I think what happens is when it comes to footprints, and I didn't do footprints for a while because for some reason I felt like I had to get every little detail in, and you don't, but you don't want to end up with something. Not that this is bad, Rob, you know what I mean, but you don't want to end up with something like this per se. So I never hardline anything in a footprint anymore. I just start right off with a mag, and I just look at the stencil, and you just find those dark areas. You put your darker tones where it's lighter, and you shape those spots where the crinkles and everything are. They're usually not this gappy. They're usually not this big in between them. And if you got to be, in my opinion, everything here is opinionated, so take it or leave it. I think you got to be a little artsy fartsy when it comes to feet, when it comes to shading the foot. You know, you kind of are looking, you're following the stencil. You know, it's like, all right, I see that crease coming through. I'm gonna let that crease shine. We'll let that crease shine. You're gonna do this, and you're just shading. Because if you go through and hard line it, then and no matter what you do with your values in the footprint, it always kind of comes off tribally. You know, like Andy said. So, and I'm not a big fan of full blacked out footprints. They just feel heavy, and that's just me though. But overall, though, if we just, I mean, I like the lining you did around the footprints. That's all lined fine. I really like everything else. The footprints, But when you zoom out and you don't really see all this, it's not too bad. Yeah, there you go. That's contrast as well. A stipple, yes, that's another fantastic way to do it. I've done footprints in a stipple format and in like a tonal format where instead of getting all the little stipple marks, I just put shades there, whether it's darker or lighter or whatnot. Excuse me. So there's varying ways to do it.
There is. With that, we'll move on to. Oh, look at this. We'll move on to another piece.
Hey, look at that. That's pretty cool.
I'll be honest with you, Dave. From this angle and from this view, I prefer this one to the other one because I think this and the design of it, and I know I can see the ink under it. I think this is really aesthetically pleasing to look at.
My question here, first off, I agree. I really like the soft shading you have throughout. It's nice. It's not overpowering. It's just enough. You got the darks like on that back here and the back foot and stuff. Is that blue or that we see? Is that stencil?
I think it's stencil because I'll zoom in, Dave. Now it's stencil,
okay.
mate.
That's it's what stencil. I thought. And so the parts of the lines I see are they seem a little thin and shoddy here and there. You know, I think in human skin, some may be a little bit more prominent than others, but I like the thick lining around the outside. I like the idea. I like that. I like a lot of it. I just wish that the fine lining they have throughout the elephant, the blue stencil portions was a bit cleaner. That's about it.
Yeah.
But the shading in it, man, I like that. I like the shading.
I like it. I like how it's like a stipple shade. What I'm liking, and there's a lot. I'll be honest. There's a lot on this that I like. And I like this eye. I like how it nicely curved and it nicely flows. I like all these little strokes with all these little curves underneath and everything. You know, for the eyelash and round the
eyelashes.
Oh, yeah, that's one for Jeremy. Through here, I mean, you look at, even though some of the line weight on the finer lines is a little bit on the light side and not quite in, what I would say to you, Rob, is whatever you're lining at, I don't know what you're lining at, and I don't know what machine you're lining with, maybe just, because the flow of the lines is beautiful, maybe just turn your machine up a little bit. Because your hand speed seems to be correct and you seem to be comfy with it, maybe just turn your machine up a little bit, which may get your lines a little bit solid and a little bit more easier. But I like the flow of these lines. They're not hesitant. They flow nice. You know, and over here, and there's some really nice stuff within there. The use of the line weights down here, these lines over the toes and everything. And there's some really good stuff.
Can you zoom in on those, Andy? On the feet down there.
On the feet?
Because down, yeah. See those lines right there, I wish that like around those feet, that was the same we had up around the face or up around the upper portion. Because I can see those, you know what I mean? They feel like they're more punched in there. While up top, if it weren't for the blues, if we got rid of that stencil, I think we'd lose a lot of that and would be so light up there, in my opinion. But I do think you're absolutely right, though. The lines are smooth. They just the machine probably needs to be running a little faster, which is rare that we say that. Usually it slows down.
Because like I say, I mean, looking on here, I mean, you look at the line weight and the consistency and the saturation through that there, which is really nice. Then we've got this one, which is really nice.
But then you see these humps here and whatnot. It's, there's a bit, and maybe we're being nitpicky, because I just think this piece has so much potential if it was just finished through, or same, because down here in the feet, it's really readable. Yeah. And I like it. And all the things we got in the face, and I don't know, maybe they need another pass at it, and take another swing and some more of those lines. I don't know. But
I don't know. But
I've never seen this design. I think it's really cool, though.
At the end of the day, when I'm looking at it from here, such a cool little design with a nice little token gesture of shading here and there, and some nice little bits of darking and everything. That, and I don't think, to be honest, Dave, it's overmassive, because this looks like, is it the bottom of the clock piece?
Yes, yeah. So I mean, we're talking like, yeah, big. It's not huge. So all those little lines are still quite small lines.
But again, this is how you do it. Nice line weights, variation of line weights is pulled all that off. And it makes this tattoo look good, because it's used a different line weight, it's busted needles out, it's managed to hold himself back and not gone crazy, with the shading. And
I really like the shading, Rob. Nice.
Aesthetically, it's a nice piece. There's just a couple of little bit things, Rob, and like I said, just try maybe notching your machine up, because I don't know what machine you're using. I don't know if it's direct drive, I don't know if it's swash drive. What I would say, anybody that's using a swash drive, and particularly a cheaper end swash drive, they're nowhere near like a direct drive, so you may end up going a full volt higher to get it. But just try it. You may not like it. You may go a volt higher and then think, oh, that's too fast. So then just try creeping it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think we've got another one off him. Oh no, well we have, but
oh, it's all of it in there. Okay, cool.
Right. So it's, I don't know what's happened here. Are you still there, Dave?
Yeah, I'm still here. Maybe he just hit the.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that was weird.
Cancel.
Oh yeah.
There we go. It's me. Wrong buttons. So again, we've got this, and then we've just got two little bows.
Yeah, I can definitely tell Rob's working on shading, working on, getting depth and stuff. It's going places. It really is. I particularly, again, just because the elephant's on the page, I like the lighter to mid tones that he's using. A lot of times it's hard to get comfortable with those. You tend to fall into either really light and everything's light, or really dark and everything's dark. But you got a nice balance of dark and light. And I think it's only going to evolve if you're there now.
But like I say, for me, it's got a nice hand flow. You can see it, the smoothness, the fluidity in the hand, coming around these curves and pulling straight. And that, like I say, Rob, so when you're working on your shading, just remember the black and pure black when you're trying to put the shadows and the shades in is a tattoo artist's best friend. And other than that, it's just that line work. Just be super critical of your line work and look at it, because some of it's good and some of it's just a little bit light. So like I said, I'd go back and have a look at your machine and the speed that you're running it, and just try figure something out, because your hand speed and your confidence at pulling line looks to be there. So I would just try tweaking your machine, Rob, honestly. And again, we appreciate you for sending your work in. I think that's all of them. So we'll go back inbox. So Rob, Stephen LeBlanc.
Right, challenge.
Hey guys, only 2 pieces this week. These took a couple of days each. While doing the Rocky piece, I must say that I came to the same conclusion as y'all. Putting in more black and darker tones really helped me create in depth. I feel I may have gone a bit too far though. Please let me know what you think. Is it too dark? Would this heal lighter and be good? Right. Also included a photo of fake skin I've done to show everyone can tattoo, but it takes a dedicated person to get good. Each of these is many hours. Blah, 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 blah. Anyone starting out and struggling, keep pushing, absorb everything you can from anyone willing to give you it. The shaky lines will get straighter, the shading gets smoother. It does. You don't need to talk about this picture. I just wanted to show you for somebody else, you know. So this is what he's saying. He's smashing working through this lot. He's got some different. Oh, I think we've seen that one, haven't we? And that. But like I say, he's putting the work in, getting it done.
Oh wow! Oh wow! I thought he said he just sent in 2 pieces.
Yeah, but this is just showing people. I remember seeing this now. I remember seeing this.
Yeah, that was last week. Last week.
We're seeing this one and that. Wow, look at this.
We saw that one too at the top. I didn't see the Corvette at the bottom. We didn't see that one. I like that.
That looks nice. That does look nice.
Man, yeah. Look at all the practice, man. I like it. I think we saw that one.
It's a little bit of colour work. It's cool. Yep. Anyway, we'll bob on and see what he sent us. Obviously, this must be his reference.
Okay.
Boom.
Right, John, man. I mean, from here, the nose is bugging me, and I don't know why. Nose and eye. I like the arms, the chest. That's all. Got those reflections all nice. Even the belt. I mean, again, I can't remember the reference, but just from here, though, I'm getting something. Can we go back to the reference real quick? I'm going to look at that nose and eye.
Yep.
Well, you know what? The nose and eye is kind of funky over there, too. I'll give him that. That would be a hard one to read. It would be a hard one to kind of read and get right. So, right, John. Yeah, I see where Jason's talking about. It could be lightened up a little bit. Like I said, that's what I was saying before. Sometimes we go really dark, and you get the people that go really light, and then eventually you go really dark, and then you go, okay, everyone's telling me too dark. So then you go light, and you're like, that's too light. Then you got to find your medium. And that's when you get to pull in like everything you learned from trying to do your stuff lighter, and then take all that stuff you knew from how to do your stuff darker. You try to throw it into one, and I think that comes just with time and practice. Still trying to figure that out, to be quite honest.
Quickly pop a question up on here. All right, let's put some up. I know someone got it from me, and I have questions. Oh, is that the one? Are you on about a machine there?
Articulator said, okay.
There we go.
Okay, so who went with the float and got AI tinnitus profit? I don't know what that meant, so I asked. I know someone got it from here. I have questions, but I didn't know what they were talking about. So I guess that was about machine. So it's about a machine. I don't know if that's the machine you were talking about. Andy.
Machine, apparently one of the greatest on the market now. I don't know which machine you're on about later.
I don't know. The Prophet? I don't know. I never tried the Prophet. I think I'd heard about it. Is that from the FK? Is that from FK Irons, maybe? Somebody asked about an FK machine maybe last week or something.
But just my 2 pence worth on this, if I'll zoom in just a little bit, is a little bit dark for my liking. And I understand for getting the muscle tones in, but I just think some of these areas could have been left to breathe a little bit more. And my answer would be, would this heal lighter? Yes, a little bit. But it looks like you've used 100% black to do it all and allowed texture for the highlights, I think, at which point I don't think it's going to really lighten too much myself. What do you think, Dave?
I missed what you're saying. I was messaging in the chat there about that machine. No, like I was saying, I don't mind it. I think, you could tailor back. Maybe some of those mids, drop them down a notch.
Yeah,
that might help a little bit. I like the belt, and then I think it was kind of cool. I don't know if it was intentional or not. Is the hard line around it all? The hard line around the knuckles up at the top.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. You know, I don't know. I kind of like it, even though I'm not sure if it was intentional or not. But it kind of adds to this. And then the hand. Which hand is that? I don't know. My right, as of looking at it.
This one.
It's kind of feels sort of, down at the bottom there. It's like, is he wearing a glove? The wrap around his hand, it's very bright and sort of flat looking. So it kind of has this, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Not cartoony, but animated sort of look. So it's a mixture of different things. So I quite like it. Again, I think you're gonna have a little struggle in the face of the of Rocky there. It just kind of, like I said, the nose and the eye. Something feels a little weird. The teeth. He kind of looks like a vampire. He's gonna bite somebody. But no less, I mean, once we look back at the reference, you can easily see that nose and the eye do kind of form this weird shape. And the mouth is kind of like that, but it was in color versus black and gray. Sometimes it can be really hard to interpret exactly what you see. And then in the end, sometimes it doesn't read the way you'd like it to, but you can't always figure out what happened there. So maybe somebody smarter than us could figure that one out. But it does look a little off there. But I think it's great. Cool practice work, man. Fun stuff. And I love all the practice work he's been doing. It's like, it's all good. Like, it's all in that ballpark of like really pushing, trying different things, doing cars, doing bodies, you know. So good work on you, though. I appreciate him setting himself. It's fun to look at.
And that was so. I think he sent us another art reference.
Oh, okay.
Boom. Oh, I prefer this one.
Yeah, I think the problem still comes down to the faces, maybe because they're so small. But I was looking at the face in the last one here, and as we jump over, so maybe just a little bit on the face because the clothing is so cool. Like, I love the way he did the clothing with the lines mixed with the pants, all those creases.
Yeah.
So many fantastic things here, Andy. I'll stop jabbing about it. I just think the face is where, if there's lacking, it'd be in the face.
I love this, how he's done the lines here, and then he's used texture. He's used blacking texture to do this. You let me zoom out. You look at this. Dave, I mean, let's be right. He's got this drop. Let me just pull it up a little bit further. He's got the shadowing bang on round here, super dark. These creases all around the pants, all around the zip, down this side, under that, you know, under that coat, and everything.
Yeah.
Through these pleats. And then on the flip side, I like how he's done the jacket, done the same, but also kept it light and airy. He's got the darks in, he's got the texture in, yet he's kept the open space so light and airy.
And then I like at the white shirt back there, he went with a thick line. Well, appears thick, obviously, doesn't really matter, but he used a light gray, you know, to create that and didn't keep it black. Just smartly done. All the stitching in the jacket, like, we know what kind of clothes he's wearing, and it's not wall to wall. I think the gun looks pretty good from what I can tell. Hands are okay. They might be blending a little bit with the gun, throwing me off a bit. But I think the only deficiency here, if I had to choose one, to be in the face. But again, I don't know how big this is. You know, I've done tattoos where it's like I look at them like, man, I wish that face was a little bit better. But then I try to give myself some credit. And I go, well, that face is the size of my pointer finger, you know. So you can only get so much detail into them.
That's right.
I like the lips. Like, go back to the reference real quick, Andy, if you could, please, sir.
Boom.
Right. And you see how the highlight, the face has a bit more shading in it than it does in the tattoo that he made, and I think that's pretty much might be where the not downfall. It's such a nicely done tattoo, really. So let's jump back over to that. Well, like see how it's just so lit in the face, and it's not quite. But anyhow, I just love the clothes though, so it doesn't really matter. We'll forget about the face.
Look, again, aesthetically, just looking at it from here, it does look a nice piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man.
Really, really putting the effort in, taking his time, trying to get there with it. Hats off to you. Keep doing what you're doing, and you will end up going places. It will end up going places for definite, in my eyes.
Gotcha.
So with that were the two that it sent in. Again, like I say, Stephen, keep doing what you're doing. Keep looking at your own stuff, critiquing your own stuff, sending them in. Love to have them. Great work, man. Bradley Pritchard, which I think Bradley was in the chat. I don't know whether he's still here. Last night was the first night in several months that I picked up my machine. My machine back up. This is the fourth tattoo on fake skin. I started a while back, but quickly realised I need to put a pencil back in my hand instead. I'll take the progression, keep going. Use the Bishop Wand Packer and a CNC 11 round liner police car at 6.8 volts on real skin. This looks like a line drawing, and this looks like Bradley. It looks like you've put yourself right out there because it looks like lines and lines only. So with that,
and I know he's using the Wand Packer. He said, right?
Yeah,
6.8 volts with 11 round liner. Okay,
so
all right.
Let's
look that's in that ballpark, sure. Yeah, from here, it's it's pretty readable, Andy. Like you're like, oh, okay, I've seen this, or you have that gist. And we're overall, Bradley, I'm encouraged. I'm glad to see you grab the machine. I'm glad to see you're doing it because it's working. I see some deficiencies I think we'll get into, but all the spots where the hand doesn't have to go a mile are all pretty crisp. They're all pretty consistent, right? Like sure, you could have used a slightly different liner for the teeth, so you left a little more opening, but who cares in this case, right? We're just vaccinating. Those are all nice. Around the eye is nice. The nose is nice. All the small, I think where you see the issues, Andy, and I think you know this already too, is up around the hat where you got to stretch the hand, where you got to move that machine a longer distance is where you get a little bit of wobbles or some disconnections between lines and whatnot. But aside from those two lines over the top of the hat, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, I know you think, but I'm looking at these, Dave. And
similar.
They look pretty goddamn consistent. This line under here, there might be just a little bit there where it's picked up and put down. And just watch for this, Bradley. I know at this point it might seem super picky, but just start looking here and there. Now, as Dave says, you should have bust out something like a 5-round liner or a 3-round liner and done these teeth, which would have made it a lot better. But I mean, to say that you put the machine down, you picked it back up, this, that, and other, overall, I think it's a good, strong return to tattooing.
For sure. And I think he chose the right good needle grouping. Didn't dive. Not that you can't use small needles, but I think it was smart of him not to jump right in there with a tiny needle or something. Using an 11-round liner, that's a good choice. Even 9-round shaders are really fantastic.
But keep going. Keep sending them in. Don't put your machine back down. Just take it on in there. Keep going. And it will work out. Because like I say, I mean, some of these lines, the smoothness of some of these lines, the consistency in them, are bang on. Just a few little bits and your needle choices. But at the end of the day, that's going to come as you go through them. Nice work. Keep it coming in.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. For sure.
I think that's the only one. Yeah.
Definitely be proud of yourself there, man. Nice stuff. It's only got to get better. You know what I mean? You just keep at it.
That's it. So we got next. Anonymous Prepper. Tried adding more tones.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, we got the pedo here.
So if you tried adding more tones, we initially critiqued the tattoo on Sunday nights when we were over on yours. So what we'll do is we will just pull it away and we'll look at the overall tones and tonage of it. It would have been nice to see, it would have nice been to see an original picture of it before we updated the tones.
Well, I do roughly remember a little bit of it, like kind of loosely, and from just a pure tonal point of view, I like it more now. I mean, personally, I hate the man. He's the biggest pedophile in America, but the shadowing is much better, right? Like the depth we got in over the lip there, where it comes around to the crease of the cheek and whatnot. Before, I think that was just kind of like a line, where now we got a little bit more definition there around the side of the face. It feels like there's a little more depth there. I feel like he got depth into this piece a bit more than it was. It felt a lot more open last week. Even up in even where your cursor is there, Andy, up in the hair has more definition. The sides of the face, the eyes could use the sockets. I think could still use a little something, but again, sometimes you don't really know what that little something is.
Yeah, I think I remember saying to him, I thought it would a bit blonde on there, and I know it was white hair. Even just super light grey, just to give some sort of direction, into there's a little bit more tonage into it, and it looks like it's done it. And when you zoom out, just seem to pull it off.
Right. I mean, I think it still needs some work overall. You know what I mean? Like the eyes kind of throwing me off still a little bit, but I definitely think he took this to another notch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it perfect? No, but that's what we're doing. I like the fact that he like went back into a piece and kind of reworked it and has come out with something better. Perfect. Of course, I don't think we're going to be there, but definitely big improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got another piece.
Oh, that's cool.
Snakehead. And I still think, me personally, there's a couple of areas he's gone in with tones, and we seem to have all this one tone through here. These scales, with it just being a snake's head, I would have liked to have seen some black here in the back, and in the back of some of these scales. It's just seemed a little washed out grey in some of the areas, just to give them scales a bit more of a depth, maybe around here. And I remember the tongue, and I said I want a fan of the tongue then. I don't know, I'm just weird, but what's your thoughts on this, Dave?
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's still looking a bit two-tonal for me, I'll be honest.
I think that's definitely what I see here as well. Like they have these black portions here, but I guess I get a little bit confused, and maybe it's the fact that it's sideways, but the tongue looks like it's attached to the side of the face or something, like it's coming off the side of the face and not from inside the mouth. And then obviously where the shading of the scales, like you said, it just kind of feels one-noted throughout. The bottom of the jaw, I don't know. I feel like it's supposed to have more, like maybe the other side of it, of the bottom of the mouth is missing that sort of dimension there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the eye. I like some of the shading he did. It just needs a little bit more value in it, and find spots where you can give some more depth. And that's the big thing there. But the tongue is what's throwing this whole thing off to me. The tongue, and just I don't know, maybe it's the angle. I'm not sure. Something's off here, but that would probably be where I'd land.
May have been nice if the actual photo was instead of portrait, instead of in landscape. So you could look at it a little bit better. That might have helped as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's still just missing that little extra bit of something in this, and I think it's the little bit of extra work in these scales with black, around some of these areas to take them areas further back. I think you've got enough lighter tones in it and mid tones in it. I think it's just some little, and it is only little bits of black that you would actually be putting in it, anonymous. But it will make a massive difference. Again, thank you for sending that in. Nearly cocked up. So, Wally, sorry, can't pronounce your surname. I'm not going to embarrass me saying, but Wally, we're going to take a look at your work. And I hope you don't mind me just calling you Wally. Hey, Dave and Andy, thanks for the great community. Not a problem. We enjoy it. We enjoy you being here. And like I say, we enjoy seeing the comments and the chat down the side as much as anything. I am tattooing now between 1.5 and 2 years, and did an apprenticeship, but they didn't learn me really. I just needed to tattoo and make money for the shop. Yeah.
What did that say? I'm sorry.
It just says he's been tattooing now for 1.5 to 2 years. He did an apprenticeship, but they didn't really learn him anything. They just needed him to tattoo and make money in the shop.
If I had $1 for every, there's so many out there. I mean, there's some great ones, man, but there are a lot of shops that they just need you to make money for them,
Yeah. So with that, let's dive in. Oh,
okay. It's a large piece, but from here that looks super crisp, man. I can easily read the shadow in the rubber band, telling me rubber band. Got some nice gradations in those lips. I wish there was a little bit more tone across the teeth, maybe at the top, just to give it a little more shadow. But
I can actually see a little bit on my screen.
Yeah,
On there, off that. But
yeah,
I mean, like I say, I'm liking this when it comes over lips with a little bit of shadow. Like I was going to trouble putting all these little creases, in the lips.
yeah.
You can see under here, super black, super dark, gives it that curve. A little bit under here, working out to his light tones. The roll of what I say is $100 bills looks good. I'm like you
Yep.
can tell it's a rubber band, a little bit of a shadow, a little bit of curvature. These serial numbers that come through here, and I'm sorry because I can't zoom it in any further.
Sure.
These serial numbers, I really do like. They do look like serial numbers, and it looks like this.
And it gets that the look of the dollar, if you sure it's $100 bill, but it has like this bit of texture in the numbers, and same in that zero in the middle there. Again, if we got closer, we could probably see a bit more of whatnot, but from here, which is fine, we can see from here, it seems to work out okay. Definitely reads money. I think it's it's a fine tattoo. You know what I mean? I think there's some stuff that you would change. Anybody would change if they were to do it, right?
Yeah.
One person would do it like this, another person would do X, Y, and Z. But overall, you look at it, you know exactly what you're looking at. Right on,
Yeah. Now, right on. Like I said, good job. Was this from Donnie Darko or whatever it is?
Donnie Darko. Is that who it's from? Oh, you mean the character?
Is it from the film or something to do with like Donnie Darko or whatever it is?
Hey Andy, I hear it as well. Jason was asking about the echo. Is our
echo on what? What can you hear?
When I talk, I hear my voice coming back through. I don't know if it's
1 minute.
It could be me. I don't know. Let me see. I don't.
What's that like, Dave?
Let me talk for a second. Let me see. I still get it. I wonder if it's on my end. Let me try to turn my.
I can't hear no echo.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I don't know. Maybe it's echoing a bit. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I could hear myself echoing.
Yeah, but I don't hear no echo on. I can't hear no echo on this end.
Okay, I could hear myself. I turned. Let me make sure this is still muted. That's still muted. I turned my speakers down. Maybe I was getting some reverb of myself.
That's better. Somebody said, contrasted saying that's better. I mean, I've turned this end down a little bit, but I've not messed around with the settings on this for weeks, but I've just turned it down.
It may have been my speakers. I turned them down too, and I don't hear the echo anymore. I thought it was me. I was hearing it for a while, but I thought it was just maybe something with me. So when I saw somebody say something, I'm like, all right, cool, I better adjust fire.
The contrasters put when you turned yours down, it went.
Yeah, I think I hate wearing headphones, so I tried to not, but yeah. Andy, I'll be right back. I got to dip out for about 5 minutes real quick.
Yep, no problem.
And then I'll be right back, man.
Yep, smoke. Yeah, Donnie Darko. I thought it was. But I'll be honest, I'm liking this. I mean, we're looking at it from this point. I knew what it was straight away. And then we'll zoom in to an unfair advantage, and that's as close as I can get. I'm looking at his line work, all good through here. I like how he's used this dark shading and gradation and texture through here to give the darkness, and also using black but to give open space. Through here, it's still okay, just a bit. Nice work though. What do you mean, 80 letter? Are you getting can you hear me? Am I echoing? Through here, it's got the dark. It's got the using black and using texture. It's got the curvature. And unfortunately, I can't get in, and I don't know whether you can see it. These are super fine lines, and he's got them in. They're clean. They look clean, and everything. Teeth all good. I'm really digging this piece. It's really nice work. And we'll get to this point here, maybe just a little bit further in, and I'm looking at this section of V between the ears, and with this dark either side, it looks like it's pushed further back, and these ears actually are in front of that. And like I say, again, got dark over here, dark over here. It's just giving that little bit of curvature. Also giving that these eye sockets are recessed in the head, while this is just in front of it. It's really, really cool work is this. Got a little hint of shading through here. Bit of pepper shading gives the open space, but just gives that feel of the curvature over the top. But again, nice piece. Little bit of white highlights, bump in eyes, just over teeth. I don't know whether they're just over teeth, to be honest. Really needed it, but that was his choice. But yeah, well done. I do like this piece. Nicely executed, nicely brought across. So let's see what we've got next. Oh, we've got some little butterflies. And unfortunately, guys, this is as far as I can get in. And unfortunately, Wally, let me just see, can I get in? Oh, going a little bit further. I can hardly make them out. I don't know whether you guys can really make it out. I can just about make it out on my screen, but on my little side screen. And these are just super little clean. And they are clean, maybe just a little bit there that could have just been cleaned up. But they super are clean. I'm going to look what we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down here, both sides of that butterfly wings, symmetrical. 4. Yeah. This side, I will be honest, and I don't know whether it's just a little bit off to this side. This butterfly would have probably looked better as full open wing like that, symmetrical. But other than that, it's really hard to tell. It's a really delicate piece. But going on the other work that we've seen, I'm sure it's fine. You back, Dave?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. You've actually gone just a. You've got headphones on.
Yeah, but I still hear reverb back.
I can't hear it. Nothing. I can't hear you, Dave.
You can't hear me, period?
No, I can hear you. I can't hear no echo and no reverb or anything.
Huh. I don't know what's up. I hear the reverb even in my headphones. It's weird. But it almost sounds worse now.
What we got on? Have you got, if you go on your mute, Dave, your little mute button at bottom of screen?
Yeah.
If you go on your little mute button at bottom of screen to pop your box up, have you got echo cancellation? Is it on?
I do. Yeah.
All right. Still echoed on my end. Is it echo? No echo on my end, Smoke says.
Okay, cool. If nobody else has
I didn't hear
echo.
it until Dave started talking.
Yeah.
I wonder if whether it might be something on your mic. I don't see what it'd be.
That's what I'm thinking. It's got to be something. I never had it until today. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? So that's why I figured I put on headphones. I don't want to derail the show trying to figure out this out, but let me try.
That sounds great. Hi, later. Andy, do you have your speakers on? It would help if you turn it down a bit. If I turn it down any further, they'll be off. And I've not had any problem for the last year, shall we say, with it.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, I can hear Dave echo. To be fair, I have headphones on.
Me too.
Anonymous Prepper only every now and again.
Weird.
I don't know. We'll just carry on. Just let me adjust my mic volume. Let me just adjust my volume. How's that? Can you still
Yeah, I can still hear you. And
when Dave talks now, is it?
Let me see. Do I hear myself? I don't hear myself. I don't hear myself when I talk now.
What, you can hardly hear me? Wife shouting that you can hardly hear me.
Yeah, you are quiet now.
Right. Boom. How's that, guys?
I can hear you pretty good now.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can hear you, but I don't know if anybody.
Right. Anyway, so needless to say, we'll jump off. That's the last one. That I can't remember now. That's the last one that Wallace sent us. Some nice work. Really like the Donnie Darko. And that. But like I say, keep up the good work. I'd like to see more work from you, and send us it in. To where we're going now. Oh my God.
Hey, we're almost there.
Yeah. Jamie Benoist. Hello, please see my submission for today's tattoo critique. I used a bullpen 3 round line and a 7 curve mag. Please let me know what you think. It's about 2 inch by 2 inch on the side of the wrist. Cool. I'm liking the look of it before even up. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I like this.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. It's quite small, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Jason's putting can't hear you, Andy. Later says I can hear Dave okay. Andy's super low. Am I coming through okay now?
I think so. Andy
Brian,
can.
no,
Okay, so
Andy
maybe
can't hear you.
maybe you have to turn yourself back up. We'll just deal with the reverb or whatever. It's no big deal.
Communications microphone USB. Just microphone. What about now? Can you hear me now?
You sound a bit louder now, Andy.
You are.
Oh, people literally couldn't hear you. Oh, that's weird.
What about now? Can anybody hear me now? Is volume okay? Just let us know in chat. Just before I jump out of my volume and start on with this tattoo. Am I okay?
Right.
Can you hear me?
I'll ask.
Type in chat whether they can hear me or not.
Jason's saying barely.
Right, nobody's going in chat. Let's carry on.
No, Jason said barely.
Barely.
I can hear Andy, but is quiet, is what Contrasted said.
Yeah. Contrast said, but it's quiet. 1 minute then. Boom. Open this up.
And I'm super loud. Okay.
1 minute.
Oh.
Auto adjust volume.
Ooh,
What's that like?
there we go. That's better.
Is that too much?
That sounds good, man. I'm not getting any reverb either.
Is that too much?
I can hear you, but you're a lot quieter than Dave.
Right, so I've just put auto volume on, so we'll see whether I blow everybody's ears out now.
Oh, it's nice, is it? Because it's quiet. Because you're quiet.
Shut up, you, get your head down. Wife's just chirping, and it's nice that I'm quiet for a change.
Oh, man. I'll push the mic further away. That could have something to do with it.
So I hope the volume's okay now.
I think it is. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Cheers, Bradley. This one, I like it, Dave.
Yeah, man, I do too. It's cool.
And it's tiny. It's 2 inch by 2 inch. It's tiny, is this thing.
Yeah. I really like the legs and stuff, because they put those highlights in the right spot, the right angle, not just like dead center, but towards the front and in the right spot. A little touch in the eye and the varying grays throughout.
Yeah.
And, it really feels like the fur overlaps. I call it fur because I'm ignorant, but overlaps throughout. Yeah, it's a nice little piece, man.
I like this. You see how these little token gestures fur through here. It's not regimented. Comes through here and goes in. It's got little bits of grey, black, white. I mean, it's slick. It's slick and it's totally readable.
Yeah, for sure.
Great work. Great work.
Yeah, obviously the only thing that we can really see or critique would be the lines in the wings, the line going over top of the wing, maybe some of the varying thicknesses throughout the wing. Obviously, it's not a large tattoo, so it'd be, but it's there. I mean, I can see it from here. So it would be wrong to not point it out. But it's really cool that I like they did is look behind the wing and how they gave it that translucent look by showing the fur of the bee, showing where that section would be, but just did it lightly. So
and it just gives you a vague outline of the wing behind.
Yeah,
on this point here, slick.
Aside from that, like if that one line around the wing looked a little punched, it would be bulletproof,
Yeah, and I really like that. Nicely done. I'm sure your customer's happy with it. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, Jamie. Nice work. These things still coming in. 2045. So that's the last one. Contrasted.
All right.
Did this one a hot minute ago. Just thought I'd mess with you guys' eyes for a minute. Sent in a video format so that you could see it all in one shot. Unfortunately, like Dave, I'm not opening videos. Great job getting your channel up and running. Looks really cool. Cheers, Contrasted. I appreciate the support. And like we say, anybody that's out there, anybody that's watching, these guys in chat, join in with them. They're all great. I have a video coming out reviewing my latest machine. If you want to subscribe, press your notification bell. You're not going to miss any of these lives that we do and any videos that come out. And on Sunday night, we're over on Dave's channel, which is Art Something, and we'll have a topic of tattoo to
I think
talk about in Q&As. I don't know what the topic is yet.
I think as of right now, we're going to be discussing needles.
Cool.
I mean, that could change, but that's kind of like, I figured for the first few, we should probably hit the high notes, right? What do we do? Like the things you might need, talk about needles, get some of them higher things out of the way. I think next week after that, we're going to talk about voltage and hand speed. Me and Andy discussed, as hard as that is to try to talk about and explain. We're going to attempt it.
I'm going to attempt it. That's going to be so hard. That is going to be so hard, Dave.
Yeah, it's definitely going to rely on the chat to,
but anyway,
some of it.
Let's dive into Contrasted.
Yeah, the conversation start with needles and then evolve to all kinds of craziness. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Trippy.
I've seen these. There seems to be a lot of these, type going on, and they really do screw your eyeballs.
For sure.
I mean, what I'm looking at for one of these tattoos contrasted, it looks pretty much as it should do. For what one of these tattoos will be. Yes, I'll probably spend all night Waldo tripping or something like that after I've finished looking at this. But other than that, yeah, pretty much. I'd hate to think I was tattooing one of these.
Well, you know what, Andy? Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, I wouldn't want to tattoo them because I'd have to keep looking at the reference. Okay, this is a blue one. This is a blue line? It's a blue line. Because I just know I would probably screw the pooch and then have to go over a blue line with a red line or something. But, oh, goodness me. Excuse me. I will say, though, I mean, unfortunately, it looks really cool, but there are some of the lines, and then, again, it's purely line tattoo, so you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Are a bit inconsistent, if we will say. But, again, I've never done one of these tattoos, never had the struggle of trying to figure out what lines should be what. So the struggle's real, I'm sure. But same thing applies here as you would in a black line tattoo. In fact, it's probably even trickier because you need a bit more consistency, if you will. So, I definitely see those here and there, but overall it's a pretty cool tattoo without zooming in and trying to find all those.
Pull it apart. I mean, and that, but yeah, pretty cool tattoo. Again, this is.
Oh, geez.
Same one.
Yeah, you could definitely see the lining issues here on this side for sure.
and I prefer this side of it.
Definitely.
So this side of it, this side for one of these tattoos reads as it should. This side for me contrasted has just got a little bit confusing. You know, one colour maybe a bit too close to the other colour. I mean, just better off just pulling them away a bit further.
Yeah, and it is tricky to get colored lines saturated and smooth
Yeah.
and all that. Black is the easiest, so you're giving yourself a harder time. So if you're not really comfortable with, you know, making consistent lines across the front of a shin to a calf, you know, all these spots, the skin varies so much that it is a struggle on top of trying to figure out what's supposed to be blue and what's supposed to be red. But I think the lines, even though it is a little hard to read in general on this side, I think the lining is the real issue here.
Yeah, I mean, just this little bit through here, you know, and around here, you can tell a little bit light outlining, especially with the blue, and that in comparison to some of these lines. But again, it's way easier to line with black than what it is with a coloured pigment, especially if your coloured pigment isn't a lining pigment. If it's a colouring pigment, it's a lot harder to line with. And what I usually do, I end up putting 1 or 2 drops of distilled water in to just thin it down that little bit, just to make it line. But then again, when you've done that, if you want to use the same colour for colour packing, put another pot of colour out. Gosh, it'll just be maybe just a little bit thin, contrasted. Yeah, that was the ending. I couldn't see straight anymore.
He did touch it up. That's good, man. Yeah. That's good.
Well, that's video. Unfortunately, I'm not opening no videos. But cheers for sending it in. Proper trippy tattoo. Keep smashing them out, bud, and hope to see some more from you. I own up Florin Dimitri.
Florin.
We'll call him Florin. I think that's what we called him last time.
Yeah, Florin. We've seen a lot of Florin's work. At least I recall.
Oh, it's John.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. John, aka Florin here. I've sent you some tattoos of my work before. Romanian guy living in Germany. I've entered my 2nd year of tattooing on human skin, February 2023. Cool.
Nice.
Here is some of my latest. That's me, baby. Yeah.
What's up, John?
Come on, John. Let's see what you got. And I'm sure it's...
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Oh, you know what I really like about that? I didn't notice until I took a second glance. The eye on the right side is left realistic, you know, as the...
Yep.
You know, that was a really cool touch. I like that a lot, actually.
In this section, see this geometric section looks like it's been poked out and it's left all realistic.
Right.
And I like how he's done the eye with the lighter bit, the dark, the couple of highlights, and you look across. I do like that.
All the lines look pretty consistent and crisp, you know, throughout that geometrical area.
Yeah, I'm looking at that long ass line down there, and it's pretty much bulletproof.
Right. Yeah, that's the one where you're like, oh dang, I really need to get this. And you can kind of save yourself if you do, you know, screw that one up a little bit. Ooh, look at the depth down at the bottom with the hair underneath the chin there, how it's like toned back the entire section down another layer. It's like, yeah, it's like toned back. I like that. Gives a little bit more like depth and then behind that is another shade of, you know, behind itness, if lack of better words.
I like
I think it's cool.
Definitely. I like this area and just round here, the nose, how it's like black and then gets a bit lighter. It's just got that tiny little glint on it. Depth through here, just under this layer of fur. And this is its first time. First time it's tried. But I'll tell you what, John, you've done a good job. You ought to be proud of yourself there, mate. It's nice. That's for what's been done. Really well done.
I hate fur. And so I respect. Hey, let's get a look-see on that one. You did it the right way, though. Hand tattoos suck. And you know what? This is heavy dark and skin tone breathing. So right out the gate, it's like smartly done, right? it just works. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Like I said, you could, if you were on a different part of the body, you could probably go into more depth and say, like, how about this? How about this? How about that? But in the hand, sometimes it's simpler is the way to go. I've learned, and keeping it dark and letting skin shine through is the way to go.
It's for me. I mean, it's done exactly right. Dark through here, lighter shading, these open tones on hand. Same in nose. You've got the dark, the mid tones through the eyes, and there's plenty going on without him overcomplicating it on the hand and putting just enough in to be in there. Right. And this read how it should do from this distance, and it's pretty much, like you said, a bulletproof how you should do a hand tattoo. I just hope, John, that this client does you a solid and goes away and looks after this tattoo on the back of the hand as he should do, because that's your problem with hand tattoos as well. But yeah, I'm liking it. Through the teeth, under here, the bottom of the jaw. Again, bulletproof.
Oh,
look.
Oh, okay. It took me a second. Like, what? It's missing. No, that looks. Now what a struggle, man. What a tough one. You see that you have to do those two thin lines going in a circle, and while keeping a little gap in between, while traveling such an odd portion of the body. I think from here, overall, nice job, because it's just a tough thing to do. You probably already know a couple of the spots that are a little more eye-catching, so I won't even get into it. But, dude, that skull at the top, that snake skull thing, dude, that's dope. For lack of better lingo.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
I'm with you. I'm not even going to go. I mean, he's going to know about this, so I'm not even going to go there. It's one of the hardest things in the world to do. One line is bad enough, but two this close together, let's not even go there.
And you could always, like, just, if need be, just fill those two. If they bug you enough, just fill them in.
Yeah, but these two lines were a bit of an ego trip for me. I was not planning on doing them, but said to myself, I need to get out of my comfort zone and just do it. Well, sometimes you do, and then sometimes you just got to play wise and say, I'll just put one single fat line through it.
Yeah, exactly. But I get where he's coming from, where you're kind of like, I can do this. I got this. You know what I mean? Like, I steady my hand. I know how to pick up lines. I know how to do this. And then you're there, and it's like, oh, dang. But nice job overall.
Yeah, nice job. Cool. I think we've got another one. Again.
Excuse me. Hey, that's cool. It's very different from the other ones. But we got the broken chain with maybe lightning. Maybe that's lightning hitting it and breaking it. Or, I mean, I want to say a tree branch, but I don't think it's a tree branch.
It's, I mean, we got a bit unfair, and I'll zoom in.
Yeah, why not?
Right here, you can just see under here, obviously, that little bit of inconsistency. And I know it might sound super nitpicky, but look, we've seen the other work that he's done. So, John, like I said, just through here, it's fine. Then just gets to this little bit, thins up a little bit. This line's just a little bit thinner than a couple of others, but other than that, it's just a couple of little spots. But other than that, it is what it is, and it looks and it reads really well. Really nice work, John. Really nice work.
Yep.
Cool.
Overall, all the pieces, nice, man.
Yeah.
And if anything, it all come down to. No, actually, no, I don't think it's all subject. It all just worked out good. I was gonna say some things could be subjective, but really, no, it was all done pretty smartly. I mean, minus those two circles, but he already knew that. Anyhow,
I'll go up to contrasted. I'm seeing as he snuck another piece in, and then that'll be the last of the emails. So, hey, Dave and Andy. So here's some stuff I've been working on, practicing on shading and colour packing. Thanks for taking a look. And rocks. Right, and rock. I think he managed to jump in chat for a little bit, and I don't know whether he's here. But
I don't know.
let's go. Let's go. Again, shading, colour packing. I mean, I'm seeing some nice line work down these leaves. It's not too bad. Over the top of this flower, this circle, some of these lines aren't bad. And I know it depends on what skin you're putting it in, but with the leaves of colour packing, it's really hard to. It is hard to blend on fake skin. I don't know what you think, Dave.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a big. Never have been a big fan of color packing fake skin.
No.
I mean, it can be done. It can be done nicely. We've seen it before. It's just if you're early on and you're already trying to figure out lines and different things, packing color on fake skin is one of those trickier things to do and make it look clean. So, I mean, don't get too discouraged by it. Maybe try to switch gears and go back to maybe just working on like maybe some black and gray, some pack and black, stuff like that. But again, whatever, because yeah, there's definitely some weird things happening with the with the
just watch out
there.
as well. I'll zoom in. Just watch out on some of your lines, like here. You've come down, bang on. You've either run out of ink, or you've not picked it back up, or your hands just come out and the pressure's come off because it's super light and there's nothing. And when I say nothing, there's virtually nothing, in that spot.
Yeah, I do like the line weights that they're working with. Though. I think it's cool they're trying line weight, messing with that stuff because it can make a piece definitely more dynamic. It's just obviously the lining needs a bit more, a bit more work on fake skin.
Same again here. Same spot. Seems to be same spot on the other arm. Just a little bit lighter through there. The nice use of different line weights though.
The circle in the background, it's definitely got an oval look, and it kind of suffers from the same thing. But for the sake of time, we'll keep moving.
So we'll just jump onto this one, seeing as I pressed the wrong button and chucked us out.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I think the stencil on this is so thick and kind of blobby that it definitely makes it kind of hard to. I mean, you can see the lines and whatnot.
Just 1 minute, Pommy. Okay, off to work. Catch you later. Maybe next time you get around to my work, your work can't come into my email, Pommy. Because that's all I've got up to press. I haven't actually got any more emails other than what's in at the minute, mate. So I just check the email. It's critiquemytattoo@gmail.com. I hope it hasn't gone somewhere. If it has gone somewhere, it's gone into trash. I will fish it out and I'll put it on the critique, for next time. But I appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
But like you say, stencil's a bit below. Can you just see?
But
few little.
I like that they're using a thicker liner here because it's good. It makes it a little bit better in practicing. You see less of that wobble and whatnot. But you can also see where lines kind of go too far, and you get a lot of kind of like that blob at the end where two lines come together or whatnot.
Yeah,
those are little things that you can work on now, and completing a line. Lines touching, all those little things. I mean, even if it's not a big piece, you get in the habit of kind of going back in and looking and saying, let me connect these two lines and stuff.
Yeah, just little things. The saturation on the lines doesn't look bad on this one. A few little areas, but like you say, the starts and the stop points and the connecting throughs, just watch and be careful, because too many of them, and you can do it best tattoo, but then you get a load of them through it and people start looking at it. Then a load of little things end up adding up to one big thing. So it's just something to watch for. Bump onto the next one. First off, I'm looking at these long straight lines.
Yeah.
And they're not. Yeah, they've got a tiny little bit here and there, but
improvement. It looks like after looking at the other pieces.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You can definitely get down with that improvement, man. Improvement, that's what you're looking for, really. Improvement. Because enough improvements and you start to really see some stuff happening. And even though lines in between, all the little lines, I think it's all the same line weight, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because even those webs are pretty smooth. Yeah, big improvement here.
Again, what I would say, just work on your shading. If this should be black and then whipped out to lighter, just really work on that. Color packing, again, fake skin sucks, but if you're going to color pack, get up to your lines, you know, out of your little bits, and then just don't even have to do any pictures. Just take some colors and just learning, you know, just to whip them out and then blend them back in with other colors for smooth transitions. And I mean, for this effect doesn't look bad at all. You know, these bits are red. It's just where this backing and transition and this bit under here where I think it probably would have been better off coming from solid black out to, you know, a lighter shade.
Yeah.
Just watch for them transitions and just bit of work.
I do gotta agree with Art you later on that one. The perspective off. I noticed it too. Down at the bottom left, obviously, the bottom is a bit thick. Maybe they went off their mark a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, from just like an execution point of view, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But like she even said too, but for the sake of lines, you're on it, you know.
This top face looks okay, and like I said, this doesn't look bad. But then you get from this point and this bottom, they should have come up here somewhere. Should that line? But it's like you say.
Yeah, because that corner is technically like pulled down almost. So, but whatever. You know what I mean? Like I see it, but
you see it. But I'm more on the line work and his color packing and / blending.
Right. Cool beans.
This one seems to have more faults in it than the rest.
Can we get a little? There we go. Yeah. I will say that, you know, they're definitely they're chewing that stuff up, trying to get those grays in there. Yeah, the lines even look a bit chewed up in some spots. I'm not sure.
If that were on, unfortunately, see if that was on human skin, there'd be a massive hole, you know, and it'd be rough healing. Same there. On this one.
I mean, as far as, you know, from as a whole, it's like, at least, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it.
No, these lines aren't connecting. We've got light lines in here. Out of there. And you probably look yourself, and out of this one, this is my least favourite. You can see through here with these lines. Like this one compared to some of your other ones, it goes over. Then you got like a sharp point here. It's not as flowy and fluid.
Right. Could be an earlier on one. Hard to say.
It could well be.
I like that they're trying to saturate all their tones, though. I'll give them credit. They're trying to get it wall to wall. It's just maybe the execution is a bit harsh.
Yeah, and like I said, it may have been better off if you, like these, maybe run a red into this orange, you know, just give it a little bit, you know, through there.
Right.
But the guy says he's working on it. Use maybe a couple more tones, maybe a couple more colours, you know, through into this tone, blend them out, get a bit more depth, same with nose. But then again, I don't know about on your screen, on the eye, it's got a nice little bit of orange faded out, and what seems to be nicely blended out into that yellow in the top of the eye, which just seems to be nicely sort of like done.
It has a nice look. It really does.
Yeah, so. And this is the look that you should be aiming for through here, in here, obviously on the teeth and everything, maybe a couple of greys and a bit of open space, you know, through here. And that the black, if black's black, make it black. Do you know what I mean? Then so be it.
Yeah.
Oh, line work.
There we go. Yeah, I like that he's still using these thicker lines. Again, we don't know which is first, which is last, so just look at them one at a time here. From here, it's like, oh, I definitely see what's happening. But, you know, as we look at the circle, you can see that, that line over line, that's a big one. A bit at the top of the head there with the...
You go over there, you get to here. We can see.
Yeah. You know, it is actually pretty decent. I see a little bit, but the main circle, like running through the middle. Yeah, that one.
This
That
one.
one's that one's pretty decent, right?
Yeah.
Like as far as the smoothness goes, you see a little bit right about there where
Yeah.
probably connected. Yeah. But as far as just looking at it, it's like, okay, you know what? You nailed that one pretty close. But so there's some good ones. You see the positivities going on.
I mean,
you can see the lines.
I look at that line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that straight one.
Yeah, it's nice and crisp. Even the one to the right of it is pretty crisp as well. Minus
one.
the bottom.
Yeah, minus the bottom. This one, smooth, one continuous flow. So there is some good stuff. And there is some good saturation. Then, unfortunately, this through the headdress, like around this area here, just seems to have gone a bit wayward for me. Could have been a little bit better executed. But other than that, like I say, I'm with you. This one that runs over here, is a pretty nice smooth line for a big, curved line, and there is some good stuff.
It's this Anthony. Yeah, Anthony. I think
Ant Rocks.
Ant Rocks, man. I think you got a nice bag of things here, things to work on, things that we can see improvements on. But I think you're doing it right. You just got to keep working at it. You know, I think sometimes that's just the nature of the game. It's like, all right, we see that, just keep at it, and hopefully you send some more in as you do them, and can kind of watch you improve, man. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. And that's it. Well done. Well done.
They Ant rocked on out of here, huh?
Yeah.
No problem. We're on to
let's go. Last one. Here's from more recent tattoos. That not messing with my eyes. Neck tattoos.
I hate neck tattoos. I can't really see it too well. Well, from what I can see, I don't. I think it's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be kind of like this, like gnarly, sort of? Not say that it's scratchy, but sort of. You know what I'm saying, Andy?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean,
know if it was meant to be that way, because it definitely has this sort of like harsh, kind of raggedy bird look to it.
Yeah, it's like a bestraggled, straggly bird. I mean, some nice blacks in here. Just watch some of this. What I would say, should have shaved him a little bit further. Unfortunately, whether he's got a beard or not, sorry mate, it's coming off. If you want it tattooing. But like I said, you've got your blacks in, you've got your lighter tones, and like I said, we've got these sharp claws in here, and it's done around here. Yeah, I think this is meant to give more of a raggedy look, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think it's meant to give that raggedy look, because when I'm looking at it, and these blacks are in where they should be, and giving it the undertones on the feathers and the open space. So I actually think that's how it's designed, you know, to look.
Yeah, because if that's the way it's designed, then I think you nailed it. You know, it's weird to say, is it supposed to be this way? But and then if you look at the bottom, like the bottom pieces coming down, can we get in on those a little bit?
That's as far as I can go, Dave.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Any further would be unjust. Yeah, that's probably okay as well. Again, just unsure if it's meant to. Now he sent in a few other photos. Can we?
Yeah, and like I said.
Covering a lot of scarring
neck
too.
Neck, it's crap to tattoo. It's one awful place.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, you had to put one on each side, or is that?
Yeah, it looks like we've got one on each side. We've got these triangles in the middle. What I will say with these triangles, I prefer this bird to these triangles contrasted, because I know it's across the neck and it's everything. But you still like this distance between this one, and it may be just the angle. You know, we dip in a little bit here, and that, and it just seems, and especially with this little bit of script, this I'm not a fan of this script at all. I can see your lines through here, and this black doesn't seem to be packed in solid. And this is all crap skin. I feel your pain. I do feel your pain trying to put something on here.
Andy, I want to know when this tattoo is done though, because there's a lot of facial hair here. I mean, are we tattooing? Was it done earlier on, and this is the hair's growing back? Because if this was done the day the photo was taken.
This shouldn't be here.
Yeah, you shouldn't have that hair there because you really don't want to be tattooing with the hair there. So I'll be interested to know that.
Yeah,
part.
this guy should have been shaved clean up to there, up to this beard line and through.
Middle is healed. He's saying middle, so it probably was shaven at one point.
Right. But yeah, as you can see on this script here, I don't know whether you can make it out on. I can't get it closer. It's just a little, quite not solidly packed black up to the lines. I can see the lines.
Yeah, and then obviously, Andy, if you go back one more second for me, man.
Yep.
The tricky part too is, the claws really give away the lack of, it's off as far as center goes. Yeah, and it's tricky. It really is, but you really want to take the time to try to get that as close as you can, even if it requires wiping down a stencil a few times.
Yeah, you look at that line, the top of the head there. You look at this one. This is his jawline. I mean, I've done throat tattoos, and I'll be honest, I end up with a bloody line down here for center. I end up this one then had been on. I'd have drawn around his jaw. Marked up around his jaw, whether it were a line or whether it were dots. And then what I'd have done then when this one were on and done, I'd have marked off from this claw straight across because it's at the bottom of that. Can you see the top of that claw is virtually at the bottom?
Right.
And if I were to come across, that's where my other mark would be, and so on and so forth. And I know it's 2 different sessions, but unfortunately contrasted. It's just something as a tattoo artist. If it's done 2 different sessions, you've still got to mark them up, marry them across the best you can. And I know it's difficult, and putting them on, taking them off, putting them on, taking them off, so you get right. But at the end of the day, if you've got to do this, if you've got to take a stencil off 5 times, that's what you've got to do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That
looks a little beat there. I know you can obviously see it when he took the photo, but that could be either a dulling needle and you're just kind of forcing it to do what you should do, or you didn't have enough ink in there.
I don't know. I think this is scars. That looks like a scar. And what I am going to say, if this is a scar, if these are scars, these here, and they're still pink like that, you should not be tattooing them. Because one, tattooing scar tissue should be around about, I would say, 2-year-old, because for the first 12-18 months of its life, it's settling in, and within that settling in period, scar tissue still moves around. It shrinks, it moves, it goes around, it doesn't settle in. It shouldn't be pink. You should not tattoo when it's pink. If it's like that, what I do is I tell them to go away, go buy some bio oil, start rubbing that in 2-3 times a day. And I know it's expensive, but you shouldn't be tattooing scars when they're like this. They need to be down, they need to be well and truly healed in and everything before you tattoo over scars. And I know people want them covering and people don't want to hear that. But again, it's just something, as a tattoo artist, you are responsible as well for their skin and the upkeep of their skin and the well-being of their skin while you're going to tattoo it and everything. And that, but yeah, as you can see, and like we say, again, same crow this side.
I don't know, it just doesn't quite. I mean, this side is healed actually, the one I look at, or at least early on in the healing phase, it appears like, because if you zoom back in, those tones look, it does slight. I don't know, actually, it's really hard to tell actually. I might be completely wrong. But the guy, he's contrast saying they were old from childhood, and he also said that the reason the 2 birds were off were because of scars, maybe trying to cover scars. I think in that point, it comes down to a more design. Then you need to give it that piece of background to hide those scars, so that the 2 sides can be symmetrical or a little bit more symmetrical. Because you might want this one down here because it's going to cover a scar, and this one like a little bit higher in this way because it's going to cover those scars. Well, maybe just tweak your design to add a little bit more to the tattoo so that they can be symmetrical, and maybe the background helps cover some of the scars or something,
I think if it had been me and that had been the case, this one would have gone on first on this side. And looking at the size of this body, and if this is where the scar, you know, the scarring is, you could have still got that up, and it still would have covered, you know, that scarring in there.
Yeah.
Then maybe because I'd have done this side first, if it was the worst scarring, pull it up and maybe pull it forward a little bit, for the sake of doing that and doing the other one and pulling them in. And if it meant that this was the last piece to go in, the throat piece, and it had to be a little bit smaller, so be it, because my main aim would be to cover the scars up on the side.
Yeah, but let's be real. Necks suck the tattoo. I hate tattooing necks.
Suck.
It's just one of the least favorite places ever. And so I just would advise people to
Yeah, I mean,
stay off as much as possible, especially in the early.
Yeah.
Phases.
But then again, if the client's happy and the scars are covered up, this, that, and other, and that, I says, you would have to see the amount of scars I'll send before picture next week. Yeah, fine. No problem. Contrasted, send it in.
Sure.
We'll take a look at it. Then we can say more. Do you know what I mean, Dave?
Yeah, what I do like about those wings, man, and more I'm looking at the wings come down, I like the layering, you know what I mean? Like you really feel that layering as they come down, and the different sizes and stuff. You know, I know we have been talking a lot about things here and there, but yeah, I do like the layering.
Oh yeah, you've got to take the good points out of it, where the dark is, and it feels like the layers of feathers are actually stacked.
Yeah,
as they should be on it, and same with the claw and everything. But yeah, no problem.
Check it out, you know what I mean?
I think that's the last one. But I will say, out of the two, I do prefer this side, contrasted. You may have had better skin to work on, more room to work on, or whatever. But for me, even tonal wise, with the blacks and everything, this side just looks a little bit better for me. But I appreciate you sending them in. Send another picture, you know, let us have a look and see how many scars this guy had before you put it on, and then we can comment and maybe share how we may have tackled it. We may have tackled it the same, we may have tackled it different. But yeah, send them in for us, pal, and we'll have a look at them. But good work. Thank you for sending in your work. And I think that is the last one.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, appreciate that. So we had a few in, and a few more jumped on. Yeah, good turnout. To say that what we started off with, Dave.
Absolutely, and that's what I was telling you. I'll bet you, come the day of, we'll get some live submissions as well. So live submissions mixed with the ones people had sent throughout the week worked out to fill easily a couple hours, 2.5 hours. We've been checking out tattoos, nice and steady pace. A good stream so far. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Been a good stream, and like I said, it says at the bottom, like, subscribe, press notification bell if you will, along with Dave's, which a lot of you are already from Dave's channel, but there's his Death Punch Inc. Facebook, his Instagram, DaveInks88, and obviously we know his, for anybody that doesn't know his channel, it's Art Something, and we'll be live over there Sunday night. I think he's at around, let me get this right, because there's a little bit of a time difference now, isn't there, because your clocks have gone forward a little bit. So
yeah,
I think it's about 9 o'clock, GMT, which is it about 5 o'clock?
Well, usually
Eastern.
about 5:30 Eastern Standard Time here, so about 9:30 your time as of now, until your time change, and then we'll be back to 5 hours
we'll go back to
between
normal.
us. But right now, I think 4 hours between us. So it is about 10:38 over there right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. You're learning, Dave. You've got it. You've got it smashed.
So yeah, we'll be going live on Sunday, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Talking about needles.
Let's just quickly Out you later once. Oh, Alicia, nice stream, guys. Thank you. Your boss lady's checking in on you.
Yeah, I see her there.
Out you later. Okay, question here. Would 4mm stroke be too much for a one-round liner? Right, I can answer that easy. I don't know about you, Dave.
Sure, go ahead, man.
My question is, if you know what you're doing with a 4mm round, with a 4mm stroke, a 4.5 or a 5mm stroke, you should be able to use it on any needle. And that's the long and short of it. Because all you'll do is you'll lighten your hand up and you touch to the skin. And that's my question.
No, Andy, I think at the simplest possible, and the only way to explain it is exactly that. Because that's like you see people who can shade with 4.5mm strokes on up, where it's obviously it's just you get comfortable using your hand pressure and whatnot per the machine you're using. So for one person, 4mm stroke would be great. You know, they just graze in the skin, what feels like grazing. Because with a single needle, you have no pushback. There's no resistance. And I get used to using larger needle groupings, so I'm comfortable with a certain amount of resistance pushed back from the skin because of the amount of needles that are going in. With a single needle, there's like no resistance. That is like a razor blade on a balloon kind of a thing. Not that you're slicing people, but there's just no resistance there. So you would just have to, you know, in that event, if somebody gave me a single needle and a 4mm stroke machine and said, here you go, and I had to do said tattoo, I would stretch the skin like normal, and I would go as gently as possible. I take that single needle and I just graze down and I'd wipe and I'd see what happened. Because you know what that line should look like in skin at this point, you know? So you're like, no, all right, so a little bit more pressure, and you got to feel for it, and then you just kind of carry on. If somebody gave me a 3.5mm stroke machine, I'll do the exact same thing, and maybe it would be punching a little less hard, if you will. Obviously, stroke is slightly shorter, then and the same thing would happen. But in a nutshell, Andy, what you said is really the only answer. I think you can do anything with anything.
Yeah.
You're probably better off actually having a stronger machine you can do more with, because if you can do a lot with a weak machine too, but at a certain point, you're not gonna be able to push certain needle groupings because you're going to need more punch. So I really do still to this day think a 3.5mm stroke machine coming from a brushless motor is a good all around. You can really train yourself to do a lot of things with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 4.5mm in mine at the minute. Yeah, loving it. It pushes just about anything. And the other thing I like about it, Dave, is I can let the machine just lighten my touch up, and I can let the machine do a lot more of the work.
Yeah,
you know, than really finding that I'll just stretch the skin. I can put the machine on, and it'll do most of the work. Even the 15 mags. 15 bug pin mags, I'm not having to, you know, dig in or out like that. And soft shading, you just super light and just let it brush the skin. Just let it brush the skin like that, and it'll put it in. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm really liking about it.
Yeah, no, I bet. Yeah, you have obviously with a single needle, or later you're gonna have no resistance with any stroke machine. From my minimal experience, it's just such a fine needle. So really, I think if that's what you're using, you can get away with using. You might as well get a 4mm stroke machine because there's no resistance anywhere. So you just get used to it. And at least that 4mm stroke machine, you can do more with it in the long run.
Yeah, it's so like I said, once you get used to any machine. And that, but like Dave says, at some point, if you're going with the weaker stroke machines, it's just not going to push a bigger set of needles into the desired skin for the desired effect that you want.
Right. Or you might do it, but you're just going to have to get comfortable with putting a little bit of your own hand pressure there, your own force there. Just comes down to what you get used to using and just knowing what things are supposed to look like in the skin and adjusting fire until you find what you want to have happen is happening.
Yep. And like I say, and again, anybody that's wanting to send any work in, there is the email address down below in the description. And I've also put along in the description, I've actually now put a link in the description to where I got my Ambition torped from, with also a link to the cartridges, which are Master Pro, and a 10% discount code for anybody that wants to save themselves a little bit, keep your money in your pocket, use the code, end of the day. That's what it's there for. And that, feel free. But yeah, a lot of people were asking about the torque machine, so I've actually put in now where I got it from, mine from, and that.
Yeah, that's good, because people were asking in the yeah, and I was like, crap, I don't know where Andy got it from. Maybe I think I told him the distributor, but I think that was probably wrong.
No, it wasn't a distributor, but they have a couple of stores all over the place. It was Ambition themselves. I think you got yours straight off Tinterweb, straight direct from their site, where they also have an official store on the AliExpress site.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
I just happened to go through the AliExpress site when I got it, because they also have some coupon codes on there, which can save you a little bit more money on it. And and technically, you have a little bit of buyer protection, Dave, using that site, bit like, shall we say, eBay. I don't like that. That if
you're saying using AliExpress, you got a little bit of like buyer security there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So,
and I even ordered straight from Ambition, and I didn't have any problems there either. No. If I did notice, the one time I ordered, they sent me a tracking number. The other time they didn't. But so I emailed them after like a couple of days and said, hey, I just wanted to get some tracking. And they sent it to me the next day. They said, yeah, sorry, here's your tracking. But if it's coming from out of the country, it'll just say like a shipping label's been created until it hits the United States. Then all of a sudden you'll see like the actual where the heck it's at. So,
yeah. So like I say, we've been on here now, oh God, 2 hours, 40 minutes, Dave. These get out, these really, really do get out of hand, don't they?
They do. It just feels like you just go from one piece to the next, to the next, to the next, and you're like just chugging along. It's like tattooing, It's like you're looking at it going, dang, we still got a long way to go. Okay, you're just going to slow and steady get through it, and then, and it's just like tattooing as well. You're like, well, we made it. You look over, it's like, has it really been 5.5 hours? My God.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, 2 hours, 42 minutes, but
I think at some point as well, guys, I will give you an update on the state of my leg after the laser removal. I'll do a little either live or a little video just showing you basically what it looks like in a few weeks. But at the minute, it's totally fine, just a little bit red, no soreness, no nothing. But other than that, all's good.
Yeah, that was fun. No, that was fun.
It might have been for you, Dave. It might have been for you.
I watched it back, man. I was rolling a few times, man. Just
yeah. Well, if you noticed,
then all of a sudden it got real, man. Oh man.
Yeah, and I thought, well, I'm going through this shit for the sake of views. I'm going to have a little dig at Dave here right on end of it, and because he'll be watching it at a later time, I'm going to have a dig at Dave here and just throw up there that just remember, Dave, you haven't fulfilled your promise to the boss lady and done the steak and lobster.
Right, right. Couldn't let it ride just the once.
No, I couldn't.
Had to throw it just at the end, right before you're out. But yeah, I just got a good laugh out of it. And then all of a sudden, when the laser started going, I was like, I felt compassion for you, Andy. Which the whole time I saw the, the look in the eyes and the, oh God, I'm doing this thing, and then the ice pack and. Oh, it was good, man. It was good.
That ice pack, it's not the first time, and it's not. There you go. There's one from your wife, Dave.
There you go, yeah.
As I say. But, yeah, the ice pack, it's not the first time we've done that. Left it on a little bit too long. And
it could
basically all it is because you've got a bit of moisture on ice pack. It forms like an ice layer on top of your skin.
Yeah.
And then it just... it just melts and you're fine to go. But to be honest, it's not as bad.
Okay.
It's not as bad as what it looks. I will be honest with you. it looks worse and probably sounds worse, laser removal, than what it is. But just think that when you're screwing up people's skin and later on they want to get it covered and they can't get it covered, or they want it removing, this is the shit that they've got to go through.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I never actually looked into it, and it was interesting to see. I think it was I just thought it was all in general cool. Like when I've gotten to do that around here, so it was fun. And like I said, I was encouraging you to have your hand at taking that video, maybe chopping it up and making yourself a little video out of it. Might be something.
Yeah, it's and I did go, and the machine that I went on is the most powerful out of the two.
Oof. I mean, people get entertainment out of watching another person hurt. Like, it's a mixture of things. You're like, ooh, but I don't want to look away, so yeah, that's a good one right there. Good comment.
Yeah, it's don't forget, Jason says, don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, ring that bell, otherwise you'll only be missing out. We don't want you to do that at all. Sunday, like I say, Dave's channel, Art Something, will be on there, and we'll have a topic of tattooing that will be covered, which looks like needles, and then answering questions. Well, basically any question that comes up, tattoo related or whatever, that's anybody wants to throw in. We'll try and answer it to the best we can from just two regular tattoo guys. And
then to Jason, he says, I love watching tattooing live. I still have all this camera equipment here that booms out and all this stuff, so I can do the YouTube live streaming tattooing. But man, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of like having somebody here to run it on this side, and it slows down the tattoo. So clients have to be aware they're going to be here for like an extra hour at a minimum. It doesn't seem like much on the other end with watching. Now on Instagram, it's a little bit easier to live stream because the quality is pretty good straight from your phone. So that's kind of nice. So I will try to occasionally do that. It still slows me down because I can't just live stream something and not talk to people who are watching. It's just weird. So I will talk. It does slow me down. So on the tattoos that I'd want to live stream, are the larger ones. There's more going on, but at the same time, they're the ones where I have to be boogieing to try to get as much done in a certain amount of time. So if you guys are interested in watching a live streaming tattoos, make sure you're following my Instagram, because if I'm going to do any live streaming tattooing, it's probably going to be on Instagram, just out of laziness right now. If you want to call it laziness, I don't know, just out of ease of use. But I imagine most people who are watching right now probably following us, both Andy on those places is our follower. All right, that's all I want to say to that.
No, I know what you're saying, Dave, because when I was getting the laser removal, setting up the two cameras, and getting them all set up and making sure that they were on and working, and shall I say that the microphone was working on one but was switched off on the other, and they're all zoomed in places so that fortunately I could sit there and talk and answer stuff through gritted teeth, while the wife took great pleasure in lasering my leg.
Right.
But yeah, it does take a lot more extra work. I know I've got one coming up, which the wife's she's having a tattoo, and it's just only a small, like you said, it's only going to be a small one. And I think it's a butterfly on the back of her shoulder. So I'm going to try and live stream that. But I don't know how it'll work out, but we'll give it a go. It'll either work or it'll fall flat on its face.
Quite simple. Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah. But with that, if we've got nothing else, we've been on here way longer than what I thought we was going to be on tonight, I'll be honest. And like you said, time just runs away from you, and we appreciate you guys being here and all the other guys that were in earlier on. We do appreciate, and anybody that's watching this back at a later date, Yeah, I mean, we appreciate anybody looking at it. And with that, if we've got nothing else, I think, Dave, we will call it a night or an evening where you are, and we'll say we'll see you all later, and we'll see you over on Dave's channel on the Sunday Night Live.
Sunday.